Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. If you can hear the tap on my microphone, I've been trying it out different ways, and I don't know if they're connecting on my phone, but as long as you guys can hear me, then that is perfect. So I'm going to tap my microphone, and whoever's here, could you please let me know if it's working? Hi, Gabby. Yay, it works. Okay. So is my voice clear then, or am I talking too loud? Hi, Sarah. Hi, Leslie. Hi, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. Okay. I'm going to wait a few minutes because it is only 8:31. So I'm going to wait a couple minutes for more people to hop on, and hopefully this live goes smooth. I don't want to jinx it, but I am known for a part 2. So if anything is to happen during this live, I will start up a new one and I will continue until we finish. So if it does happen to be cut off, refresh your page and join a new one. I don't know what it is about my internet, but it isn't very nice to me. So all these are the supplies that we need for tonight. So if you guys don't already have all your supplies out, now is the time to get everything together and ready so we can get going as soon as everyone is on here. My computer is over here, so I have the chat up on there so I can see what you guys are saying. So if you see me going that way, that is why. Hi, everyone. I hope you guys had a good day. I had a productive day, super productive day, and I had a very productive day yesterday, so I am super happy that I can just kind of not work, but just kind of relax for the evening after I get off with you guys. Usually I get off the live and then I have to do more work. So tonight I get to go to bed after this, so I'm very excited about that. Okay, I'm just gonna go over the supplies that I have on the table right now. These are pretty much everything we need for the romper, and like I said in my description, if you don't have something like the Kam Snaps, if you weren't able to go to the store and go grab those, that's okay. Those are actually the very last step of the romper, so if you need to run to the store another time, don't worry about that. You can always put them on at a different time. And you don't need anything fancy. You can actually get a Kam Snap, a handheld one, at Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. They all have the Kam Snap handheld press, and it does come with, you can get one that comes with Kam Snaps. You can also purchase Kam Snaps on Amazon. If I'm in a bind and I need a certain color, I'll search Amazon and they'll get here in the next day or two. So that is an option as well. I use all size 20 for my Kam Snaps in all different colors. Those are the only snaps that I use. I know a lot of people use different snaps. There are many different kinds out there. I prefer these ones just because I like to choose different colors for each print that I use. I think it's nice to have a variety of colors. Sometimes I give the customer an option of, like, for instance, my mermaid romper has a bunch of different colors in it. There's like pink, light pink, dark pink, light purple, dark purple, blues. There's all different colors in it. So sometimes I'll shoot them a message and just say, is there a specific color you want on your snap? Because they are, pretty sizable, so you can see them and you can definitely tell what color they are. So that's a good option to give your customer. Okay, so you want your Kam Snaps, your Kam Press. You can use either a rotary blade or your scissors, whichever one you prefer. I prefer a rotary blade just because it's just easier for me to cut. I've trained myself to use it since the beginning. Scissors hurt my hands, and so that's why I have this on here, because this is actually just a scrap piece of Minky that I've wrapped around the thumb part of it just to pad it a little bit, and it made it a lot better. So anyway, you can choose whichever one you would like to use. I forgot to include this in my picture the other day yesterday when I posted it. You can use any sort of pick or needle or anything, just something to poke through the fabric. It needs to be pretty sharp because you're going through basically 4 layers. You have your outer layer of your body, you have your stabilizer, and then you have the liner on the inside, and then you have the back liner and the back body piece, and all 4 pieces have stabilizer on them, so it needs to be sharp enough to go through all of those. So this needs to be sharp, and you need to be very careful when you do this because you can poke yourself. I've done it before and it hurts really bad. Next is the stabilizer. You're going to need 8 pieces because there are 4 pieces to each, 2 on each, but we have 4 pieces, so there's 8 pieces total. You can use any stabilizer you want, anything that you have. You can use the Pellin. I'm going to grab the one that I used to use so I can show you. It's just the paper one that you can iron on. It's best if you can iron them on because it just makes it easier. You can also just hold it and sew it in if you don't have a fusible one, but the fusible ones are way easier. So this is what I used to use. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. Is it going to focus? So I used to use this, and then I started using my no-show poly mesh fusible stabilizer because I use that for some of my embroidered birthday shirts. So I already have it on hand, so there's no point in buying both. I still have this extra, but because I started using this, I like this much better. It's a lot softer. After you fully make the outfit, it's a lot softer. So that's why I like it, but you can use whatever you have on hand. And then obviously you need your pattern. I have 2 body pieces and I have 2 liners, and I uploaded, or I didn't even actually link it. I just put the website on there. She has an Etsy shop. I just Googled Rompers on Etsy just so I can find one that was similar to the one that I have, so it's easy for you guys to follow along with me. So I hope that you guys were able to get that. I believe it was around $4, so it wasn't too pricey. And hopefully if you did get that, you were able to put the pieces together and cut out the size that you want to do. I'm going to be doing a 12 to 18 month tonight because I have an order for this to go out tomorrow, so I just figured I would do it here with you tonight. And this is my new Easter print. So it is just a gender neutral carrot print that I picked out this season, and I just love it. It's super cute. You're gonna also need your romper cuffs. So you're gonna have to cut 2 of these out. Again, I make my own patterns. I don't know which one comes with the pattern I chose for you guys to download, but hopefully it's similar. You can always make your own cuff the way that you want, the size that you want and the length that you want. Just know that you fold it in half. So when you fold it in half long ways, that's how thick your cuff will be. So it's not going to be this thick. It's going to be half of that because we're folding it. So I like my cuffs to be around 2.5 inches wide, or long, I mean. So it gives the baby room to grow because I don't know if it's a tall baby or a short baby or what have you. So it gives them more time to wear their outfit. It's kind of like a grow with me outfit. So, and then you need your fabric, and hopefully you're all able to go get that. You'll need some sort of fabric weight so you can put weight on your pattern while you're cutting it out. The worst thing is trying to cut out a pattern, holding it and cutting it at the same time, and then the pattern shifts and then you've kind of messed up. So always, you can use anything. You can grab whatever you have to put on your pattern. You can grab your scissors, you can grab your pan of, or your bowl of pins. You can grab anything. It doesn't have to be a weight. I do love my weights. If you're interested in these are linked in my description box. These are, I believe, 4-pound fabric weights, and I got them on Amazon. So I ordered one, and then I realized my patterns are long, and so I need 2 of them to hold down. And I don't need 2 of them, it just makes life easier. So there you go. So I think that's all we need. You'll need an iron because it's very crucial to press your seams. I use a heat press, so if you have a heat press, you can follow along with me while I heat press mine. But if you don't have a heat press, you can use an iron. It's the same idea. And I think, oh, you need a sewing machine or a serger. I'm going to be using a serger, but you can do the same thing on a sewing machine, and I will explain that as we do the steps. So I'm going to go over to my computer really quick, and I'm going to answer any questions you guys may have right now. And if some people are just hopping on and need me to go back over some things, please let me know. Now's the time because I'll be looking at my computer. I'm going to face the phone over here so you guys can actually just kind of see what I'm doing. Okay. Is my mic working good still? Shayna, you are so sweet. I'm scrolling all the way up on the comments because I missed everything. And you don't have to do that, you guys. I promise. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Working great. Heard it. Perfect, clear, clear. Perfect conversation volume. Thank you. Okay. So right now you guys should be getting everything together while I'm going through these comments because there's a lot. You're recutting your templates. Yeah, they're kind of confusing at first, but once you get down at least one template to cut out, it's so easy to figure them out after that. I remember the first time I did it, it was so confusing. Just match up the colors. That's what you got to do. You have a 5-thread serger. Which setting should it be? I've never used a 5-thread serger. So mine's only 4 threads, and I only use, well, I have 2 needles. My settings are on, let me check. 4, 4, going from left to right. They're 4, 4, and 4.5. I kind of fluctuate between the 4 and 5. Just depends on what I'm sewing. And welcome if you guys are new here. My name is Amber if you don't know me, and I make all handmade baby items. I do teethers, I do blankets, I do loveys, I do birthday shirts, pretty much everything to do with babies, and it's all handmade except for like the blanks that I get. I don't hand make those. Cutting my pattern and lost track of time. Cindy, it's okay. We all do that. Aw, you're sweet. I'm going to try to make this a little bit of a, not fast because I don't want to lose you guys, but we're going to go through this, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I had a question right here. I know you have made this before, Amber, but what do the clear things for the pattern? What do I use for the clear things? Paola, is that what you're asking? If that is what you're asking, they are linked on my description box. I get them from Amazon. It's a big roll. It's a big clear vinyl roll, and it's called Merino vinyl. And I use that to cut out every single one of my patterns that I make so I can keep them, save them. I mark on them what they are and what size they are. And then I hang them over, I can show you guys later, but I hang them over on my grid wall. And I just get like baby hangers, and I have clips on them, and they just hang flat down, laying down. I don't fold them or anything, so they just are always laying flat or hanging flat so they don't mess up. You are actually sewing along tonight, so at the picture on the ending list, don't leave you behind. Hello, I normally would be heading to bed, but I have the day off tomorrow now to declutter my house. Oh, yay. Hi, Adelaida. Good night. I wish I was in bed, but I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I'm actually like in a really good mood today. I had my coffee. I actually had 2 coffees today. Oops. Oh, I hope I answered your question, Paola. Been worried about you, Amber. I have been looking all day. If you didn't miss, you'd be live. I was afraid that you were going to be live tonight. Are you doing okay? Yes, Karen. Thank you for asking. I just have been so swamped, and it's just hard right now to keep up because I'm the only person who really does what my job. Obviously, probably like most of you guys, but for some reason, I don't know what I did, but I just got slammed. And clothing is hard to make, like especially when it's like every piece is handmade from scratch, and it just takes time. And so I like to put all of my love and care and attention into every single piece that I do. I want every piece to be perfect, and that's kind of a flaw that I have, but I accept it. And it just takes time for me to make every single item. So I get stressed out sometimes when I have so many orders, and I don't want the customer to feel like I'm forgetting about them because I haven't got their order out yet. But I always message them and tell them, like, I'm never behind on shipping them out. I always ship them out before they're supposed to be shipped out, but I always do message them and tell them, sorry I didn't get this to you sooner. I've just, I've been backed up and I'm working on your order right now, or I've already cut it and it's getting ready to be worked on tonight, or what have you, like whatever you have going on. So to answer your question, I am doing great. I went to bed at 8 o'clock the other night because I was so tired, and I put my kids to sleep. I got in bed, and I just literally, I had a glass of wine, watched like 10 minutes of a movie with my husband, which he appreciated. I tried, and I just passed out. So I got a really good solid night of sleep, and ever since then I've felt wonderful. Like just that little bit of extra sleep is so amazing. Thank you guys. I try. Yes, Paola, I want to see a picture as soon as you get them. I love, I think my favorite thing about my job is seeing the photos of the children. Like, that literally lights my soul when I can see my clothes or the clothes that I personally made on someone else's child, and it just looks so gorgeous on them. Like, oh my God, it's such a fulfilling thing to me. So, okay, are we ready to get started? I'm super excited for this. I know that I've already made a romper video. I've done rompers in all of my work along videos, like every single time you guys see rompers. So I didn't think that the votes would be that high on the rompers because they're always in my videos. But apparently you guys are really interested in sewing these. And I actually I make them more simple than some of the patterns, if that makes sense, because every single pattern that I've made, I've simplified, because in the beginning, I was so confused. Like I said in my other lives, like it's very hard when you're first starting to understand the patterns. They put so many words in there. They're trying to describe too much at all the time. Like you just don't know where to go from step to step. It's so confusing. So that's what I've tried to do for myself. And that is actually why I created this YouTube channel, is so that I could help you guys understand better the you're getting and how to break the pattern and simplify. It's got a lot of parts to it, and so it does take a lot of time. It's my most popular item in my shop, but it's also one of my most pricey items, but it also takes the most time, and it takes the most fabric, because you do have 5 parts including the cuffs. So there's a lot of steps to it, but I'm going to break it down and I'm going to show you guys how to do them quick. So let's get started. First time through a pattern is always time consuming. It could be just my internet. Am I frozen? Don't tell me I'm frozen. No. Okay. Okay. So Sandy, are you going to be on here the whole time? If you are, can you just like write in all caps if I'm starting to lag or if you can't hear me or if there's an issue or something? That way I can spot you and see. And if everyone else can just write in lowercase, that way I can know to look for that. It usually takes me about 20 to 25 minutes to make the romper from start to finish. Obviously that's not going to be tonight. Tonight it's probably going to take us a little while because I'm going to be explaining everything to you guys. I'm going to try not to take too long, but it always seems to end up taking a long time. Thank you. Okay, so if you guys have all your pieces ready, I'm going to turn the phone back around and we're going to start cutting. And I'm going to show you how I do it from scratch on my bolt. Let me see if it's a good angle. Is this a good angle for you guys? Let me know. Hi, Thelma. Welcome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you guys could please give me a thumbs up on your way in, that would be really appreciated. I'm new and I am trying to grow my YouTube channel. Okay. I'm going to just move my computer right here so that I can see you guys when you ask me a question. Okay, so the way that I do it, let me move all my stuff. We're going to keep these for later. I'm not going to use my scissors because I don't use scissors, so I'm going to put those away. I need this. So I always take, if you're wondering why I mark this and why this is pink on the edge, is because this is clear and I can't see where I'm cutting. On some of my fabric is really light and so I can't see, so I mark my edges so that I can see where I'm cutting. So I do a straight line. And then the reason why my X's are right here is just for me. It's just a personal preference. I do that because this is my fold right here. Sometimes I'll be in a hurry, like we all are, and I'll just put the straight edge on the fold, and it's not supposed to be there. So that I know if I see the X's closest to me, I need to flip it, and that's where it needs to be. Just when I'm in a hurry and I'm not paying attention, because we all do that sometimes. That's how I tell myself, slow down. Okay, so the back of the romper is always bigger. So I always take that piece. And to make it easy for me when I have a lot of fabric on my bolt, I'm just moving everything. I'm gonna go put these over here really fast. So the way that I do it is I move my pattern like a quarter of an inch up off of the edge, just so I know I've made it underneath on the bottom. And what I do, because I don't want to deal with all of this right here on the bolt, I mark a line. So I'm just going to cut all the way across because I'm going to use all of this. I'm not going to waste it. So I just cut across, and then that way I can get rid of this. It's not in my way. I don't need it. And then I flip my fabric around because I want my carrots to be facing. If you have a directional fabric, you need to face it the right way. So pay closely attention. Pay closely attention. Pay close attention to the way that your pattern is facing. So your fabric, so my carrots are facing, I always do the same thing repetitively every single time I cut out a fabric piece. I'm always standing right here, and because I have 4 pieces of my cutting mats put together, and it's a line right here, and I always get stuck in the line, so I always move it forward. So I always am standing right here in the same spot when I'm cutting, and I'm always having my fabric, directional fabric, facing forward. so that I know every single time it's going the right way, plus my stretch is always going the right way. So that's a good tip. Always do that. Like always make sure your directional fabric, and if your directional fabric is going that way, you know your stretch is going the right way. So pay attention to the stretch on your fabric pieces, and you should never run into a problem. Okay, so then I make sure your fold is on the fold. And I always conserve all of my fabric. So even though there's only like 3/4 of an inch right here, I'm gonna fix that because I wanna save as much as I can. I know I say this every time like a broken record, but this is organic fabric and I don't like to waste it. So I try to save as much of it as I can, no matter how many times I have to go back and fix it. So now I'm not gonna fix it any more than that because I can't really get it any better than that. And just go ahead and cut your pieces out. I don't know why I always start at the ankles and I work my way up. You don't have to do that. That's just what I do. And I could go all the way up, but I don't because I can use under here this extra fabric to make one of my circles for my organic nursing pads. So I don't waste that. I keep that. Always think of ways that you can use your fabric because fabric costs money and it's expensive. So this piece right here, this is a bigger romper, 12 to 18 months. So this came out of the crotch part. I'm gonna keep this. And I have a bin down here that is scraps. This is a gender neutral one, but I have girl scraps and boy scraps. So I'm just gonna throw this in either one. And I keep this for, like I said, my nursing pads. So I'm just gonna put that over there for now. Am I all good? Okay, so there's one piece. And when I'm finished with one piece, I put it behind me so I'm not confused. I know I've already cut that. I fold this up, put it to the side. Move on to my next piece. So when you have a non-directional fabric, let me show you, for example, if you have a non-directional fabric, so this is a directional fabric. So I have to put my pattern piece going forward, which fits right here like this, right? Because I can't go any closer. But I have all this right here that I'm gonna potentially waste. If you do not have a directional fabric, if say it's flowers or just leaves, any kind of fabric that doesn't matter which way it goes, you can flip it. As long as you're still on the fold, you can flip it and then you won't waste as much fabric because I can move it up, I can move it down, and then I wouldn't have anything to waste, or maybe just a little bit. But because I do have a directional fabric, I'm gonna come over here because I don't wanna waste all that fabric on the other end. And what I'm gonna do is still my carrots are going up, but instead I'm gonna fold it and cut it this way. Because my directional fabric is going forward. It's the same way, it's just the opposite side. It doesn't matter, it's gonna come out the same way. But what you do have to pay attention to is the underneath right here. Because see, if I were to cut that, I would have white right here, and I don't want that. So I gotta move it up a little bit, just a little bit. And we're good. Okay. I'm gonna move it up slightly. And this is the front piece, so I do the same thing. I just cut it. There's nothing I can do with this right here. It doesn't fit anything that I do. It doesn't fit the pads or anything, so I'm just gonna toss that piece. So I'm gonna go like this, and I'm just gonna toss it. I'm gonna save this piece just like I did the other one because I can fit my 4-inch square in here. Now there's my front piece. Done with that. So see, it turns out the same exact way. It was just folded the other way. So I'm gonna put this to the side. And now we're gonna do our cuffs and our liners. I'm gonna do it this way so you guys can see. So what I normally do with this big piece right here, your cuffs, the way that I do them, do not have to be on the fold. I don't know about that pattern you have, but if it says on the fold, go ahead and fold it just like I did right here and put it on the fold, but you make sure the stretch is going long ways, because if you think about it, you have to put the child's ankle and foot through that, and so it has to stretch just enough. I do make my cuffs slightly tighter than most on purpose because as a mom, and this is why I make my own patterns, but as a mom, I hated when my child would be running or playing outside or whatever, and their pants come off and underneath their feet, and then they trip over them, or they get dirty, or they get holes, whatever. So when I decided to make clothing, I wanted my cuffs to be a little bit tighter so that they grabbed the ankles, and there was no, at any point, that would happen. So that is why if you ever do purchase any of my leggings or rompers, and you feel like the cuffs are slightly tight, they will loosen up. It's just, you have to wash them a few times. It's organic fabric. It needs time to loosen up. It does get softer every time you wash it, and I do that on purpose. So I tell everybody that. But anyway, make sure your stretch is going the right way, is what I meant to say. So I always cut my cuffs out with this extra piece right here, so I'm not wasting any fabric. And it doesn't have to be on the fold, because I need 2 of them, but I don't need them on the fold. I need 2 separate pieces. So it's a little too big, so I'm gonna make it smaller. I don't wanna waste any. And I'm gonna cut 2 of these out at the same time. I just leave it a little bit off the fold. And if you are using a directional fabric, be mindful of where you place the cuff, because that's going to be going around. You don't want to place it like this, sideways, because then your carrots are going to be going diagonal. So you want them to be very in line. Okay, put those aside. You're done with that. Okay, now we do the liners. I hope I'm not moving too fast for you guys. I will stop after I'm done with this and answer questions while everybody else is finishing up cutting out. I'm trying to move slower than normal, but I know some people need a little more time, so that's okay. I just kind of move these around and figure out where it fits. I need to move it up or out just slightly to get it to fit. So I try to line these up so I can just go straight through them, because this piece right here I can use for, say, a newborn cuff or a 0 to 3 months cuff because it's small enough. I could also use it for an organic nursing pad. So you don't want to just place them wherever. If you want to conserve your fabric, conserve it and push your item or your pattern pieces all the way up butt to butt together. But make sure they're lined up correctly. And then I usually go like this. I usually cut right here first, just so I know that where the dividing lines are. Cut right through there. Then I just leave that there and I move this piece right here and I do the bottom. I always do the bottom first. And then I just keep my hand on here and I move it as I go. I promise you this is much faster when I'm just working at home, like not talking to anybody. I'm just explaining how I do it. Lift this up a little bit so you don't cut into it. This piece is done. If you guys are wondering what kind of rotary blade I'm using, I love this one. It helps my hands. It's rubber right here. It's called the Quilter Select rotary blade. You can get it on quilterselect.com. It is amazing. I love it. Okay. So that is all the pieces. I'm going to lay them out for you guys so you can see them. But with this extra fabric, what I normally do is just fold it up. And again, I have a bin under here that is, I just have a boy and a girl bin, but this is gender neutral. So I just will put it in any one. And then it'll just be basically scraps for clothing. That's how I named it. So that when I pull the carrot fabric out and I need to make leggings or a romper, I can definitely use some of this for leggings or a romper. So that's how I save my fabric. Okay, so we have two. Let's see, can we see this? So I have a front liner, a back liner, I have a front piece, and the way that I know it's a front piece is, let me show you. I'm going to put these this way so you can see it. Because I don't pin. Feel free to pin, but I just take it over and start sewing it. And the way that I know how to match up the liner pieces with the body pieces is the shoulder, armpit area. See how short this one is and how long this one is? Same thing with the liners. This one is really short and this one is really long. So that is how I know to grab the longer one, put it on this one. Grab the shorter one, put it on this one. But there's a step before that that will also distinguish which one is which. I always put my tags obviously on the back piece. So I serge the bottom pieces first of the two liners, and then I take my back piece over to my standard sewing machine, and then I put my tags on. So immediately I know this is the back piece, and then I grab it and put it on the back piece of the body. Okay, so we should have 2, 4, 6 pieces all together. I'm going to go turn my heat press on really quick and answer some questions, let you guys finish cutting out. If you have any questions, please ask me. I'm going to start moving my stuff over to the other area. I'm just reading your guys' tip, or your guys' tips, your guys' comments over here. I'm just right behind you. How many do we have on here? 120. Please give this video a thumbs up, you guys, if you're watching and you haven't done that yet. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and move my phone over here so that I can show you guys. Hold on one second. I'm going to put it right here, actually. Sorry for all the moving. Just trying to plug my phone in so it doesn't die on you guys. Okay. So the next step, while you guys are waiting, is to either get over to your heat press or your iron. We're going to iron on the stabilizer. I'm just grabbing all the pieces. If you guys are wondering where I'm at. So what I normally do, these are my cuffs. I'm going to put these over here. I usually take all my pieces and lay them on my table. Can you post the info on your plastic that you use to make your patterns? So the vinyl or the plastic, Sandy? The plastic ones you can get at Joann's. I got it in the quilter section. And the vinyl I get off of Amazon, and it is under my description called Marina Vinyl. Okay, let's see. Thank you guys. I'm just going through some comments, sorry. It's the only thing about doing this is I can't read while I'm talking, obviously, so I have to kind of catch up as I can. And I don't even know who's on here, but hi everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Shayna, washers. So when I first started, I can show you what they look like. They're right here. I still use them sometimes if I'm like cutting a bunch of stuff out at one time and I don't have enough. I use these washers. I think my computer's lagging or the video's lagging, but one of the two. So they look like this, and you can get them at Home Depot. You can get them at Lowe's. They're just washers, and some people like to decorate them. I didn't really take the time to do that, but yeah, I just used those as fabric weights. But you can use anything. I'm just waiting for this to heat up. I forgot to turn it on. Okay, let's see. What I'm sitting here saying to myself. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Yeah, the washers do take a lot. I would use like 4 on each corner. Hi from Australia. Wow, thank you for coming on. Welcome everyone who's new on here. I think I introduced myself earlier, but I'm Amber, and I am the creator and owner behind Being a Bliss. I do all handmade baby items, anything to do with babies. I love children and I love my job. You could sell a bag. You see them all the time on Etsy. Oh, you guys are talking amongst each other. That's good. I love when you guys talk to each other because I feel bad that I can't talk to you. Is your fabric knit and a little spandex? So mine is organic cotton knit. So it's not super duper stretchy, but it is stretchy. So it stretches pretty well. It's super soft. Anyone on here right now that has any of my items can tell you how it feels and how it feels after you wash it. Sandy, that's funny. Kimberly, I am using organic cotton knit. I get all of my fabric for my clothing off Spoonflower. I know it's expensive, but I love, love, love the quality of it, and I can't get any better. I've tried everything, and I just love it. So all I do is up my prices to take care of that, and it doesn't seem to matter. People still buy. Kimberly from Best Day Ever Shop. So exciting. You did your first video. I actually have a video uploading on my other computer. Yeah, it's taking forever to upload, so. It'll be up tonight though, after we get off this. Okay, I think we're ready. Yes, Spoonflower is awesome. Okay. It's not perfectly hot. I usually set my heat press at 315 degrees, 315. I keep it at that all the time. I use that degree on everything I make, whether it's vinyl, embroidery, anything I do. Putting my stabilizer on my clothing, I keep it at that. It's just the number, it's my sweet spot. It's the number that I've always used. It doesn't burn anything. It always adheres perfectly. That's just me and what works for me. I'm sure other people have different, a different degree that they use that works good for them. It's just all about what works for you. I left my stabilizer over here. The only time I change it is when I do screen print transfers, and I put it at 370 degrees for that. And I also take my Teflon sheets off. These Teflon sheets come right off. Same on the bottom as on the top. They just come straight off, and they go back on just like that, like a glove. I also got these on Amazon, and they're linked in my description box. So one is using for their stabilizer, but for mine, I'm using the no-show poly mesh, and you can see the shiny side is where the glue is on the back. It's a heat glue, I guess. It comes on, it activates when it's heated, is what I'm trying to say. So I literally just put them on. I leave about 1/4 of an inch to a little less than 1/4 of an inch from the very top of the shoulder strap, because you're going to be sewing or serging up here. It doesn't matter. It goes through the knee. It's fine if you sew through it. It doesn't hurt it. And then I just press it for about 8 to 10 seconds. And I always do my liners together because they're smaller pieces. I'm always trying to save time. So I do that. And then I just set them over to the side because those are done. I take my bigger pieces and I do those one at a time. Sometimes they like to fall, so I'll pick a leg up and just place it up here. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Are you guys good? Okay. And just repeat that on all of the corners, making sure that the adhesive side is face down because you don't want it to stick to your heat press. Hey, Latasha. Welcome, welcome. Go ahead and just place each piece to the side once you're done. And please tell me if I'm moving too fast. I'm trying to like stop in between and talk and read comments, but if I'm moving too fast, please let me know. This is kind of just I can do this with my eyes closed sort of thing. So I just go. I made about 13 of these yesterday. Okay, so all of my pieces are done. I'm going to, again, move over to the other side. So I will be right back. Going to situate myself so I don't have to move much more. Hi, everybody. I can't believe you guys are all here. Thank you so much. I know the time difference is so crazy for you guys, but I appreciate you guys all being here so much. I'm moving my computer right now, so you guys, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Okay. How's the picture on my phone? Is it clear to you guys? Let's see here. What angle do we want? I think I'm going to... Is this backwards to you guys now? Please let me know. I'm trying to get you a good angle. You're having trouble with the threading sequence. Is it threaded? Okay. While you guys are talking, I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out a good angle. So I'm going to move this around for 1 second. Sorry, guys. I hate moving you guys, but I just want you to be able to see everything. Let me see here. Okay, let's see. Is that better? How's that? Hey, Eric, how are you? Are you guys sitting together watching me? Are you sewing or is Nita sewing? Cover stitches on your wish list. I love my as I would like, but I'm going to be using it more. I use it more in the summertime. Okay, so the next step that I do, this is just the way that I do it. Take your cuff and stretchy waist side. So make sure that your pattern pieces are facing up towards the ceiling and your stretch can go back and forth this way. So make sure that it's like that. Am I lagging? Sandy, am I lagging? I wonder why. I hope it gets better. Hold on, let me check something really fast, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm connected. I'm gonna not mess with it and just see if it's okay. Okay, so once you get your pieces like this, you're going to fold it in half this way. Because if you think about it, this right here is going to be your ankle cuff, okay? So fold it in half like that. And then you're going to bring the top or the bottom corner up to the top corner. So bring the bottom corner up to the top corner like that, okay? And then you're going to sew a zigzag stitch if you don't have a serger, or you're going to serge along this edge, which is the edge that has all the raw edges. You'll see raw edges on top and raw edges on the side. You're going to want to sew the side seam, not the top, the side. And just take it straight down to your sewing machine. And I'm the opposite way right now, so I'm going to have to flip it. I hope that didn't confuse you guys. But if it did, just look at your pattern piece, make sure it's facing up towards the ceiling the right way, fold it in half, and then take your bottom corner and fold it up to your top corner. And then you'll have all of your raw edges. Make sure all of your edges are nice and even on top. And then you're going to serge or sew. You're going to do that to both pieces. So fold it in half, bottom corner up to the top corner, and I'm going to serge down this raw edge on the side. And I leave those on there because I'm just going to I'm not going to take the time to cut each one after each one, if that makes sense. I'm just going to keep going. So the next part that I do is you take the liner pieces, and if you don't have a serger, what you can do is, if you should have a serge-like stitch on your machine, or a finishing edge stitch is what they call it. So it should have like a line and then like zigzags through it. And that's what you'll want to use on the edge. It's just so that you have a finished edge, the look of a finished edge, and not just a raw edge, if that makes sense. Again, I'm self-taught, so I'm trying. I don't know all the terminology, not technology. I don't know technology either. But the terminology I don't know as well yet. I'm learning. But what you basically want is a finished edge. So serge that. Straight across. After you're done with that, you're going to do this thing to the other piece. I'm reading some messages. Okay, so do the same thing to your other liner. Now I'm going to cut it off because I'm done. And I take the time, yes, I know it takes time, but I take the time to cut each one nice and neat. I don't really worry about this edge much. I just kind of cut it. I worry about this one, which is the one with the raw edges, because you're going to be sewing that to the body. So I always just make sure, like this one, I always cut that one off all the way. This one doesn't matter. And now at this point, I'm going to save it to the end because that's what I normally do. I'm trying to do it in the order that I normally do it. Sometimes if I'm only doing like 1 or 2 or whatever, I'll do the cuffs like right now. But I'm trying to show you guys how I do it on a normal day-to-day basis. So after I do this with my cuffs, I set them to the side. So I'm going to put them back here because I'm not going to use them right now. And I'm going to grab my back liner piece. Remember I told you guys in the beginning it has the longer armhole. So look at both of your liners and choose the one that has the longer armhole. That's your back piece. I'm going to put tags on my pieces right now because this is a order. If you don't want to put tags on it right now, you can just wait till the next step. But this is the time, or this is the time that I put my tags on. So I'm just going to leave you guys right here. I don't want to move you. I'm just going to go put my tags on really quick, and then I'll show you in a second what they look like. So for my tag, I put my size, which is 12 to 18 months. I just grab my tags. And this is for a boy, even though it's gender neutral. I know that this one's for a boy, so I'm going to put my boy tag on there. I usually just do a straight stitch, and I put it over to a 5.0, which is a little bit over to the right. And I back stitch and forward stitch. And then I put my other tag in. Back stitch and forward stitch. Okay. So my tags, I just put them the middle right here, and I put one on one side and then the other on the other side. Are you guys lagging? I'm sorry. I don't know. Is it just cutting in and out? Hi, Maple and Cotton. If I can get your name, I hope you haven't already told me it and I forgot. I'm really bad at names and I apologize to everyone. I get my clothing tags from a Etsy shop called Mountain Street Arts. It's all one word and each letter of the beginning is capitalized. Are you guys all at this point? Okay, I don't know why it's doing that, and I apologize, you guys. Is everyone caught up to this point right now? Thank you. I hate it because every time my internet is so horrible out here. Where I live is like not in the middle of nowhere, but like we don't have towers out here, and they're working on it, but we have like 15 houses in our block and the towers are so bad. We always complain to them. So one day, okay. So I always start with my back piece, and I don't know why, there's no specific reason, but you can start with whichever piece you want. I just personally do my back one first, mainly because I had just sewn the tag on and I already have it in my hand. So I don't pin, but if you're gonna pin, all you do is take your liner, or I'm sorry, your body piece, print side up towards the ceiling, and this is what we call right sides together. I know that terminology. And just line up the armpits. So your liner is facing down and your body piece is facing up. And this is how I attach my liner to my body. And you just want to make sure, my phone is getting in the way, but you just want to make sure that they're lined up very evenly right here and right here. Okay, I'm just turning around, making sure you guys can see me. And then you're going to use, if you don't have a serger, again, just use a zigzag stitch. And exactly where I'm going, so I didn't show you, but you're going to basically, I'm going to show you on this piece. You're basically going to sew or serge from the point, not this line. You're going to leave this alone. You're going to start right here and you're going to go all the way up, all the way over. You're going to go around the neck. You're going to go across the shoulder and you're going to go back down and you're going to stop at the point right here on the other side. And then you're going to leave that alone. Did you guys see that okay, or do you want me to lay it flat and show you? I'm going to sew it and then I'll lay it flat and show you. You're probably bouncing, sorry. I don't take it off, I leave it and I just pivot. You're going to pivot 90 degrees and just turn, just on the same as a sewing machine, how you can pivot for corners, just do that all the way around it. Stop and pivot. I did that because I didn't go far enough out, and so you can do that on a serger. You don't have to make sure your foot's down. Is it shaking? Okay, I don't know. I hope it's not shaking too bad. Be careful when you go around the neck that you can see both layers, because if you don't get both of those layers under there, you will have a hole in your neck. I know I say that every time, but it's very crucial because when you go to flip it, you'll have a hole. And then you'll be mad at yourself for not checking. Pivot and turn. I'm on the other shoulder strap and I'm just making sure they're all even. Tell me if you like this angle. I can always move it to the other side or behind me if you want to see a different angle. So I'm coming up to the corner of my shoulder or my armpit, whatever you want to call it. Not my shoulder. My shoulder's up there. This is my armpit. So you're coming around the corner. This is the corner I want to stop at. So if you want to watch how I stop, I just turn and I just pivot off. I just go straight back and out, and then I'm done. And then you can cut that edge off. And then I cut this edge off on the other side. And then what I do, just like on any other corner that you do with blankets or anything else that you turn corners, you always want to cut them at an angle, but don't, so you can see where it's sewn right here. You don't want to cut below that second line. So I just cut it like that. Hopefully you can see that right there is where it connects. You don't want to get near that because you'll have a hole. And I do that to every corner, just like that. So they all look the same, just like that. Is it better? Is the internet getting better? Okay, go ahead and put that to the side. You're finished with that for now, and we're going to do the same exact thing to the other piece. Just wanted to show some support. You have a wonderful night. Bye. Thank you for coming. This is the best angle? Okay, perfect. I won't move it then. Okay. So now we're going to grab the other piece and we're going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to lay it where this is so you can see. So if you didn't get a good vision, a good look at the other piece, this is how I do it. You lay it down flat. If you're pinning, just lay your piece right on top of it. Line it up good. You can't really, I don't want to move my camera, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. And then you're going to start on this side, which is the corner on the other side. And you're going to sew all the way up, all the way around the neck, all the way over the shoulder, back down, and this is where you stop right here. So these bottom pieces should be flapping. They should not be sewn. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to my other piece. I hope I'm explaining this to you guys okay. Please let me know if you need any further instructions. It's very crucial to make sure that your shoulder seam on the very top is lined up evenly, because if it's not, then it's going to be like off kilt. It'll be crooked. And then it'll feel funny on the child. Not that babies really care, but that goes back to me being a perfectionist. I always stop in the middle of the neck piece and line up my shoulder so that I know that it is evenly distributed across the whole thing. Does that make sense? Take your time. You're not in a race. Just make sure all of your pieces are fully lined up and you're catching both layers. That's the most important part too. You make sure you catch all your layers. Cut your corners. Don't forget to cut your corners, because the way that I do it, I always have this bulk right here. You don't want that bulk. Okay, so once those are done, I'm trying to push it over to the side so you can see it. Okay, let's see. Are you having issues, Cindy? On the side of your down here, there's a lever that you can turn it on or off. If the blade is sticking up in the air, you can turn your knob over here towards you until you see the blade going down all the way, and then stop turning it and then turn your lever to make sure your blade is off. That's what I do, and I just always leave it disengaged. Okay, so what you're going to want to do next, if you guys are all here, line up your pieces. You finished your liner edge, that's where you grab your liner edge where you finished it. Line those two pieces up together so your right sides are together. And then you're going to start, I always start on my right side, and I serge or sew with a zigzag stitch because it needs to be stretchy. I don't know why it keeps lagging. This is frustrating. I am going to plug my phone in though, so it doesn't get turned off. Okay. So now just do what it said. Start from the very top and just make sure I always make sure my two armpit seams right here. Can you see that? Make sure that those are both lined up. And as long as they're lined up and the seams are going the same way, pretty sides facing the same way, you should be good to go. So just make sure those are lined up. I always stop right there and readjust, making sure that they're all laying flat. You got to give it a little nudge sometimes, but you want to sew over this slowly because it is very thick right there. There's 4 seams right there, so, or 2 big seams and then 4 layers basically. So if you go fast, you will break a needle, so just go slow. And then you're going to have to stop and readjust the whole way down, especially if you're doing a bigger size because it's a lot of fabric. So just take your time, make sure it's even because what you don't want to do is not check and then at the end your legs are off. One of them is way longer than the other one and then there's no way. You have to take your threads out and start over. So just go slow. I always hold my bottom pieces like this so I don't get too out of line, and I kind of just adjust it as I go. If you see me doing this, it's because I'm lining up the 2 layers. I always want to see the bottom layer. That way I know it got in there. And then when I come to the end, I just match up my bottom pieces like this, make sure they're in line, and then I sew the rest of the way down. You can cut that piece off. Don't cut the top piece, only the bottom piece. And then this is how I do it. You can do it however you want, but the way that I do it is, this is my pretty side. This is my ugly side, right? Pretty side, ugly side. So I want my pretty side to be all on the same side of the romper. So instead of flipping it and doing the other side straight down from the top to the bottom, what I do is I just cut this off right here. And I'm literally just going to pivot and start right here on the other side of my cuff. I hope that makes sense, but right now I'm at the part where you sew let me show you in the air. So right now, I just finished this piece right here. Let me move it down. I'm looking at the camera, sorry. Okay, so this is if the romper's upside down. I just finished sewing this corner. Now I'm gonna move over to the cuff piece, right, or the end of the leg, the ankle, and I'm gonna sew all the way up and around the crotch area. And then you're going to cut it off right here. And then you're going to move over to this side. And then you're going to sew from the ankle all the way back down up to the shoulder. And then doing it that way, you'll have your seams all the same on the whole body, front and back. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this as long as you are sewing the right areas of the body. I just do it this way because I like the look of it. I like the consistency of the seams being on the same side. And I've just gotten so used to doing it this way that I just keep doing it this way. Make sure that you have both layers in the very middle of the crotch seam, because you don't want to miss it. You don't want to hole there. What I'm doing is just lining up my ankle pieces like I did before, making sure my layers are showing. Cut off the ankle piece, and then continue from the other side of the ankle all the way back down to the liner of the shoulder straps. Now you can see that the bigger pieces, or the bigger sizes, take a little bit longer because it's a lot more fabric. I did just recently up my prices because I have been doing a ton more size 2, 3, and up. I don't know why all of a sudden, like, the bigger sizes are very, very popular. It's a lot of fabric, and my fabric is very pricey, so I had to compensate somehow. But I also don't feel bad about it because I have not increased my prices since I started. It's been like 3 years. But I've really only been serious about my business for the last 1.5 years. So I don't really, I mean, I started being a bliss like 3 years ago, but I'm real serious about it the last 1.5 years. So it was time. Plus, I feel okay about it. You want to, okay, hold on. You want to leave a little bit extra here because we're going to tuck that. So now you have your whole body all sewn together, and we're going to tuck these pieces. So what I do is I take my finger and I just rub it through the top because I want it nice and even. And I take my large eye needle that I always use, and I just tuck in the seam, or in the threads in. And then you cut it off. And it's hidden in there now, and it won't come out in the wash. You won't have to worry about that unraveling or anything like that. And I do the same thing to the other side. Yes, I take my time, and I do this on every single outfit that I make because I do not want any of my seams to come unraveled. I don't want to take any chances. I want my items to last, especially if they are on the pricier side of kids' clothing. I want to be confident that nothing's going to happen to them. At this point, you can go ahead and cut off all of your extra threads. You can cut the ankle pieces off. And now we have the entire piece of the body put together. Do you guys have any questions while I am looking at my computer right now? What are you guys all talking about? What do we do after the lining? Okay, so when you're done sewing on both liner pieces, you're just gonna put both pieces together, right sides together, and the top of your liners are gonna flap up so that the raw edges that you finished are matching together, right sides together. And then you're gonna sew all the way So if they're like this, you're going to put them together like this. Can you see that? Okay. So when they're like this is the edge that you finished earlier in the beginning. You're going to sew from the top all the way down the body. And then the next step is to sew from the ankle around the entire crotch seam. And then you're going to sew up the other side from the ankle all the way back up to the top of here. And that's where we are. So go ahead and do that while I answer some more questions. How can you turn the blade off, Amber? Okay, so I'm going to show you. There is, let's see here. Let me look at my camera. Okay. See this right here? If you guys have the same serger as me, this means it's off and this means it's on. That means it's cutting. That's like a little piece of paper and the blade's cutting it. So my blade is disengaged right now. So I'm going to show you what it looks like if it's on. So if I turn it on, let's see, my blade's right here. Okay. Watch, it's going to pop up. See how the blade's popping up now? That means my blade is on. So every time I sew, it's going to be cutting. If I want to turn it off, so my blade is up now and I'm going to turn it off. You go roll. I'm rolling my wheel over here. Roll it until it goes all the way down and stop. Come back over here. Turn it off. And now look, it's off. Now my blade is no longer engaged and it is not going to cut anything now. It's just going to be there. And that is how I do it. Did that help? So you guys, I can tell it's all fuzzy. I'm lagging. Yes, I'll show you my settings. Okay, can you see that? I mark them. So this is from the very beginning when I first bought my serger. I didn't want to forget. So I know that this one I thread first, and then I thread this second, third, and fourth. And these are the settings that I always keep it at. I don't ever move it. I circled that because in the beginning I used to use that one, but I know now that it's in between, it's 4.5 is my sweet spot. So I just know that I marked it too soon. I was a rookie at the time. So mess around with it for a little bit until you get it exactly where you want it and make a note of it. Like I used to sew like gauze fabric and all, you name it. I sewed everything. Now I only sew a few things because I just kind of picked where I wanted to be and I don't sew all those other things now. So these are the settings that I use on a daily basis. And then this is the one I have. It's an older model, I think. Cindy and Pale, I think you guys got the newer edition. And it's just an upgraded version of mine. I've had mine for like 3 years, I think. Did that help you guys? it turns off differently. I found a YouTube video on how to turn off. Yeah, I've heard everyone's saying that that one is different, and I don't know because I don't have that one, so I don't know why it's so different. The settings on the side. I just have mine on the normal settings. This one's a 1. This one's on a 3. And then this one I have at the 5. I never mess with those. I did in the beginning and it just ruined everything. So normally the standard settings that they give you are typically the ones that you should just stick with. At least that's what I've found to work for me. Does that answer all your guys' questions? Are you all ready to move on? Of course. That's what I'm here for. These Monday nights, you guys, are for all the questions that you have. Like, I'm no expert. I'm going to say that over and over again. And I'm self-taught, but I want to teach you guys everything I know and hope that it helps you. Yeah, I don't know. Your guys, it seems confusing. Like, this one's just so easy to turn it on and off. I can do a little research for you guys and see what I can figure out. I'm pretty good at researching things. Okay, are we ready to move on to the cuffs? So grab your cuffs that you laid to the side. Mine are over here. I hope it's not lagging so you guys can't understand me. Oh no. Is there a big hole? That stinks, Cindy. I'm sorry. Okay, what you're going to want to do, look at your cuffs. There's 4 layers because we folded them. I actually showed you guys an advanced way of doing these cuffs, so I hope I did not confuse you. I tried to explain it as I went. But you're going to see 4 layers here of raw edges. These are all your raw edges. This is your fold right here. So when you're looking at your raw edges, there's 4 pieces. Take 3 of them to the side and then keep 1 of them to the side. And then you're just going to flip it inside out. Okay? And you have a cuff now. There is more parts to it, so just hold on a second. But you're going to want to make your raw edges at the very top should be your raw edges. On the bottom should be your fold. And the reason being for that is if you are holding your child in front of you, or a child in front of you, this is their leg, okay? This is their cuff. You're not going to see the raw edges on the bottom of a cuff. You're going to see the fold. So that's how I taught myself whenever I was doing cuffs, that this should be on the bottom because that's how a pant leg looks, a cuff. Okay, so now this looks wrong, right? Because my carrots are upside down. So if you have a directional fabric, you have to pay attention to this because if you sew this on wrong, you're going to have to undo it and redo it. So pay attention very closely when you do your cuffs to a directional fabric. So because this is upside down, because I already straightened this out, I'm going to pin it. Whoops, this is where your pins or clips come in handy right here. You're going to pin it. I pin it on the seam. My seam line is right here. And then I literally just bring it down so I center it like that. And then I pin down the middle. So now I have pins or clips on each side. You can pin it, you can clip it, whatever you want to do. But now that it's upside down, I'm just going to take my hands and flip it inside out. And then now this is the right way that it should be. So that is what it should look like. Your raw edges should be facing up towards the ceiling. Your fold is down towards the ground. If you have a directional fabric, when you're looking at it, it should be the right way. Does that make sense? Do that to both of your cuffs. I'm going to do my other one. Remember, only grab one flap. If you grab two flaps, then you're going to fold it and it's not going to unfold. I did that when I first started and I'm like, I'm doing this all wrong. Like, why can I not do this? And it's because I was grabbing too many layers. You only need one layer. Again, it's upside down. So I literally just flip it inside out and then it's fine. Now it's good to go. They're both even on each side. And there's my cuffs. So are we all there? Of course, thank you so much. Am I still here, you guys, or is it gone? Am I lagging? Okay, cool. I just can't tell because every time I look at my phone, it's fine, and then I look back at the computer and it's all fuzzy. So I don't know. Okay. Take your cuff now. And this is just how I do it. You can do it however you want, but I always line my seam up with my pointer finger. That's just how I do it. So my seam line right here is, my hands are inside the cuff, and this is my seam right here. So you can see, I'll put it up close so you can see it. Now you're going to line your seam that I just showed you right here up with the inside of your crotch seam. You don't want your seam to be showing on the outside of the leg when they're wearing it. You want it to be on the inside so they can't see it. So what you're going to do is open up, keep your romper the way it is. Don't flip it any way out, inside out or anything yet. Just keep it the way you sewed it. Open up your leg, and you're going to stick your cuff inside your leg. And what I do is just turn my hand to where the seam is on the crotch right here. So I'm not moving my cuff anywhere. It's on my hand the way I put it on there. Stick it inside your pant leg, and then I twist my hand. And then I line up my seams with my seam right here. So this seam, pretty side facing flat, laying flat, I line that up with the seam on the inside. And then you're going to pin all three of those pieces together. So now you'll have the body layer and two of the cuff layers. Then you're going to roll it around to the other side. There is no seam line here, but that's okay because you have this seam right here on the outside. So you're going to line that seam up with your clip or your pin or whatever you used. So making sure that the seam is laying flat, and then you're going to clip those together. So now you have three pieces on this side as well. There's three right here, and there's three right here. You can see those three layers. There's three on this side, and then there's three on this side. And your cuff is going to be looking like this, and that's okay. You want your cuff tighter than your pant leg, so you're going to have to stretch it when you sew it, and I'll show you how to do that. So go ahead and do that to your other cuff as well. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not lagging right now because this part is kind of tricky, so I want it to be nice and clear for you guys. And I appreciate you sticking with me when it's not doing great. Okay, so again, line your seam up with your other seam and make sure you're lining them up and laying them flat. So now this part is going to be facing that way because the other side was facing the opposite way. It's because of the way it was sewn in a curve. It lays flat on each side, if that makes sense. Flip it back around and do the same thing to the other side. And now I have my other cuff and it looks like this. I'm doing this at a huge angle, so I hope that you guys can see this okay. Okay. Let me know when you're ready to start sewing these, when you have them all attached. We have 101 watching right now. I have 98 likes. Can we make it even? That would be so amazing. I don't know if I've ever had 100 likes on a live. That's so awesome. $99. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. That jumped really fast. Turn parts of the machine. Once you have it flapped down, you look up the white plastic lever. Oh, do you have the same machine as her? That's awesome. Thank you so much for helping her. She just got her machine and she's doing so good with it. Yay. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys are so awesome. I love you all so much. Okay, if we're ready to move on, I'm going to go ahead and move to the next part. Now, this part is kind of what I'm doing. If my hand is right here, I'm not going to start yet. I'm just testing it. First thing you want to do is stretch it, not too much. Just give it a couple stretches like this, like pulsate. But if my hand is right here, let me see real quick if you can see it. You're not going to be able to see, so I'm going to move you guys to the other side of me. So don't get sick. Close your eyes for a second. Let me see here. I'm going to angle it the other way, so hold on. This way. I think that's the best I do for right here. Okay, so what you're going to do is, like I said, stretch it just a little bit, because you're going to want to, when you're sewing it, and again, if you're on a sewing machine, you can do a zigzag stitch at this part. Everything, and up until I tell you to do a straight stitch, you're going to want to use a zigzag if you're on a machine, a sewing machine, standard. So you're going to want to stretch it so that it is even. And I use my thumb to move the fabric back so that all 3 layers are even. So you're going to want to make sure, and I just kind of maneuver my hands. It's very tricky at first. This is something that, kind of like with wine, I'm going to use this example. Wine, it's an acquired taste, right? So same thing with these cuffs. Once you get it, it's super easy. But in the beginning, you're going to get frustrated because you can't grab it right, your hand's in the way, or the presser foot's in the way, or whatever. You're going to get frustrated. Just relax. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna get it. I promise you. I was so frustrated too. But what you want to do is make these even, and then I go in at an angle. I know I've said that again over and over again, but this is how I start it, because you don't have knee lifts on these sergers, and so I don't want to let go of this because I already have it even. If I have to let go, it's gonna mess it up to lift up that presser foot on the other side of the machine. That's why I go in at an angle. Because, watch, I will show you once I get this fixed again. If you go in at an angle, and I put the fabric under this piece right here, and I pivot, then I can stop and readjust and make a straight line. And it will be just like lifting up the presser foot and putting it under there or whatnot. So then I just lay this down and then I readjust. And then you don't have to worry about the fabric flying out of your fingers or whatever. So readjust, get it in there. I take my clip out at that point, and then I just kind of grab underneath here. I'm doing this at a very big angle, so I hope you guys are okay. And you're just gonna slowly sew and stretch the cuff, not the leg, but the inside of the cuff with your feet. My fingers are inside the cuff. Pull it. If you have to, push against your machine. Sometimes it comes like towards me if I'm pulling too hard. So just push against your machine and then down. And then sew until you get there and readjust, because you're, especially with the smaller ones, you have very little leverage under there. So you have to stop and go, stop and go. But the bigger pieces are easier. Make sure you don't get your clips in there. And at this point, I don't know if you can see this, but see how this is uneven a little bit? My needle over here, this thing that goes like this, is going to catch on this piece right here. So I take my amazing Frisker scissors and I cut off just this little piece right here to make it flat. And I'm almost out of thread over here. And you just go slow. I put my finger right here, my middle finger, to give it a little nudge through there. But what you want to do is make sure you get all those layers so that you don't have any missing. Cut off that extra piece that was in the very beginning. And then when I get to the very beginning, I overlap just a little bit. And then I pivot and pull it back. And again, I always tuck my seams in, so I leave them out a little bit, and I use my needle, and I pull it through. And what I've learned, I taught myself, well, I'm sure that this isn't something I just learned by myself and nobody else knows, but in the beginning, I used to tuck it in going the same way as the thread. So say the thread is going this way, I would tuck it in going this way. What you want to do is actually tuck it in going backwards, and I'll show you why. If you tuck it in going the same way, it does not look as clean. And I always wondered, why does it look messy if it's going the same way? It's so weird. Why does it look messy? If you go backwards, so see I'm going the opposite way now, it all tucks in. You can pull it, that's why I pull it straight, but you pull it and it all tucks in right there. So, little trick. Probably not a trick. Everybody probably already knew that. I was just proud of myself for figuring that out. Okay, I'm going to do this other cuff, and then I'll answer any questions you guys have before the next step. So again, I'm going in, I lined my edges up, and I'm going in at an angle. And then I'm going to put my needle down, take out my clip, line my edges up. Again, I'm going to cut this piece off right here. That way it's nice and flat. Readjust. Your body gets all twisted up over here, so make sure you untwist it so it doesn't get all up in the way. Cut that off. This is where I started. I'm right here on the edge. I'm going to go over just a little bit. Cut it, and I always make sure I get my seam in there, and I got my seam in there, so it's good. It's not gonna come apart, but you always want to double check that. I check the inside and the outside. So after I put this in, I'm going to check the insides and make sure it's good. Sometimes, every now and then, I make mistakes too, just like everybody else, and I'll have to go back over it. But I'm going to check my seam on the inside and it's good. So see, there's the inside of that one. There's no seam on the inside, but that's what the line looks like on the inside. So it's fine. And that is how you do your cuffs. Do you guys have any questions? Nadine, maybe, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry. The pattern that everybody's using is in the, if I'm wrong, please correct me someone. I believe I posted it yesterday. It's from an Etsy shop, and I just chose a pattern that was similar to mine. I think it's $4 and some change. And so that's the pattern everyone's using. I think it was from like MadeByMePatterns on Etsy. Thank you, Paola. I try. I hope I'm doing it okay. And I hope I am not getting cut off, because I know when it's lagging, like you can't only hear parts, like bits and pieces. So hopefully it's okay. Okay. I hear coyotes like behind my backyard again. Every time I'm out here, it makes me sad because I know they just ate something. Okay, let's see. I'm just reading your guys' comments. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Cindy. I should have told you guys. I never ever use my cutter. I always have it off. Good night, Kimberly. Okay. So the next part now, I'm going to put you guys kind of to look at me. I hope that you guys can see me. Let me see. So I'm looking at my computer to see if you guys can see me. Okay. So now you have a full body. And the next part is to sew down the liner and tack it down to the body. So you're going to take your liner. I always flip it. I'm actually doing it the wrong way from the way. There's no right or wrong way. You can flip either side. I just always know that where my tags are, I flip it the opposite way of my tags. That's how I do it on every one. There's no, like I said, there's no right way to do it. That's just how I do it. You can do it either way, but you want to flip it. And then what we're going to do is go over to our standard sewing machine, and you're just going to make sure that your seam right here and your seam right here and your seam right here are all lined up. So you have a straight line down right there. They're nice and even. And what we're going to do is I sew right down the middle, all the back stitch, go all the way down. I go past here and then back stitch all the way back up and back down. You want to tack this down to the liner really good. So you're going to do that on one side, and then you're going to flip it over, because this is the side that's tacked down, and then you're going to flip it over and tack it down on this side. There's no way to I mean, you could flip it the other way and do it the other side. It's just easier, and they're not going to see it. It's just a straight stitch. So that's how I do it. I do one side, and then I flip it over, and then I do the other side. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to move you over to my machine and show you how I do that. So give me 1 second. I don't ever use my cutter. I don't know why. I just trained myself not to use it because it was a me and I exactly right. And yeah, I just got annoyed of it, so I stopped using it. So I'm going to move you guys over here now. Let's see if I can get a good angle. Okay, so you're done with your serger now. You can turn that off if you're wondering. Let's see here. Okay. Is that good? Yes, I'll show you guys that one more time. Okay. Hi, Vicki. Okay, I'll show you guys that real quick. So pick a side. Okay, hold it straight up like you can see the whole body from the liner as you're holding it up in the air. Let me see if you can, let me move my camera real quick. Okay, so this is the whole body, right? You're going to, is this okay, Sandy? Is it buffering now or am I good? Okay, thank you guys, sorry. Okay, so you're holding it up. You're going to flip your liner over one side. Just hold it up facing you and flip it the opposite way. So your liner is going to be flopped over now, and it's going to look like this. It's going to look weird right now, but you're going to sew it down. We're tacking the liner down to the body now. And so now you're going to take it straight over to your machine. And I'm going to move this angle now. Okay, so you're going to take it straight over to your machine and you're going to sew with a straight stitch. And I put my setting at, I leave the length of it the same. Mine's at 2.5. And then my width is, which means on a straight stitch, is the placement of your needle. So I move my needle over to the right just a little bit. I have it at 5.0. So now your liner is on the bottom facing down, and then you're going to flip these up and you're sewing a straight stitch. You're going to line up your liner and your body so that they're even like that. And you're just going to do a straight stitch down the middle of this right here, making sure you're catching the bottom piece. So keep these lined up. And that's how you tack it down. You're going to straight stitch, back stitch right here, go all the way down. I go past it a little bit and then I go back stitch it all the way up. And that's how you're going to tack it together. So I'm going to do that to this side. And you're wanting to put your needle in the very middle of this right here. So whatever your settings are on your machine, just have your needle right in the middle. So I forward stitch and then I back stitch. And I have my finger holding the liner and the body piece together so that it doesn't separate. You don't want it to move or pass. You want it to stay exactly right on top of each other. And then you're going to back stitch and then forward stitch. So now what we have is a connected body. It's not going to be floppy on the child when they're wearing it. It's connected. So now the liner is completely connected to the body. And we're going to do that to the other side. So what I do now is then flip it over. And now your liner's facing up. And you're going to do the same thing to the other side. So you're going to line up your liner with your body piece right here on the seam. You want to make sure you're sewing in the seam, in the middle of the seam, and not on the body or liner pieces, because then it won't open up correctly. So make sure you're sewing in the middle of the seam. Straight stitch all the way back down, same thing that you did to the other side. Make sure you back stitch, otherwise it will come undone. So you can see right here, I don't know if you can see because of the lighting, but you can see where I sewed it. It's right down the middle right here. That's where I sewed it. Okay. Are we all there? You're confused, Cindy? I'm tacking down the liner to the body. So take your liner pieces, hold them up in the air, and flop them over to one side. So say this is my liner. Okay, here, hold on. Pretend I didn't sew that. Say this is my liner, okay? Pretend this is my liner. Actually, it's going to be like this. So say this is my liner. Flop it over to one side. So flop it over. So now it's going to look like this. Okay, so you flopped it over to one side. Hold on, I'm doing the opposite way. Okay, I take that back. Okay, flop it over to one side so it looks like that. And then once it looks like this, all you're going to do is take it to your machine and do a straight stitch. And you're going to sew from the top of the armpit hole or the armpit corner, straight stitch all the way down. And that's going to tack your liner to the body. But make sure you back stitch on the bottom and back stitch on the top. And you're going to do that to the same thing on the other side. So just sew down the liner pieces to the body in the middle of the seam. So you can see right here where I sewed the line down the middle. You don't want to do it on the body because then it won't open up correctly. Did that help you? For the romper pattern, B Designs on Etsy is a UK code and does not have romper patterns. Anyone? Ooh, I don't know. Okay, let me know when you're there. Setting for sewing machine at a straight stitch length 2.5, width 5.0, move needle to the right. Yes, you're exactly right. Does it matter how big a fold? To Sandy, for the liner, you're just literally lining it up with the shoulder or the armpit seam. So it'll literally just flap over and then you'll know exactly where it should be once you line the corner up to the body. So if you pulled it straight up, you'll see the armpit right here. And that's where you're going to tack it down. That's where you know your fold is, if that makes sense. So this part is confusing. Honestly, when I first made them, I didn't tack it down. But I taught myself how to do this because every time my son would wear his romper, the inside liner would, you could see it from the inside, or it'd come out the armpit, like it would be flapping everywhere. Or when I would take it off of him, it was all like, it was just a mess. And so I'm like, how do I do this? So I figured out how to do it, and this is the easiest way. So I hope all right, so we're almost done, I promise. Like I said, these rompers are step by step by step. There's so many steps to them, but once you get it down, you'll go boom, 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 right through them. I promise you. The next step is flipping out the shoulder straps. So you're just going to go through your liner and you're going to flip out your shoulder strap. And I just realized that I forgot to add in yet another supply, but you can grab a pen or any sort of chopstick or anything that has a sharp, not super sharp, but an edge on it that you can poke corners out with. I use my corner turner, and most people who sew have one of these. So this is what I use. If you have something like this, you can use this. If I can't find this and it's on the other side of the room and I'm just like in a hurry, I'll use my pen and you can just stick it through there. You can pretty much use anything that has like a sharp edge as long as it's not super pointy. But you're going to go through each corner or each shoulder strap and you're going to poke out your corners gently, not too tight or not too hard. You don't want to poke a hole in them. But this is where the stabilizer comes in handy. Like it makes them nice and stiff. Not super stiff, but stiff enough to where like they can hold their own. You're not gonna puncture a hole in them. You're not gonna rip the cam snap out of them. That was another thing that I didn't do in the beginning. I didn't put stabilizer on, and like the second or third time my son wore his romper, I went to change his diaper and I went to take it off and the button like pulled a hole through the strap. So it's like, what? How do I fix that? And so then I came up with the idea of putting a stabilizer underneath there. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought of that idea, but I was excited that I figured it out on my own. So you're just gonna go through and make each corner, whoops, nice and sharp. Sometimes I can even do it with your fingers. If you've cut them nice enough, it's easy enough to just go through with your hand, and then I just go through really gently and just make it a lot more square. I like square corners. That's my goal. I'm always trying to get them nice and square. This part's relaxing, kind of. You just sit here and do this. Sometimes I get annoyed when I'm in a hurry, though, and I have to do this. I'm like last night, I had like 13 of them to do, which is 13 times 4, because each romper has 4 of them. Okay, once you're done with that, now you can flip the entire body inside out or right side out. And you almost have a romper. So there is, before we've pressed it, here's the romper. There's the feet. Boop. And then the body. And then we're going to put snaps on it, so it's going to look like that. All right, do you guys have any questions before I go over to the heat press? Thank you. I know, I love this carrot print. Super cute. You need more wine. I had a glass of wine before my live. Thank you. Ooh, I have 119 likes now. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here with me. No, Cindy, I promise you the first time it's hard. You'll, just like your leggings, you learn from your mistakes. I learned from so many mistakes that I made. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm just going to be honest. This is my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion. And I think I said this in my last live. I started using any of the fabric that I could buy at the stores. I started with that. I still have that. That's right here. This is Joann fabric right here. I don't use it anymore because, not that I don't like it. I think it's beautiful. It's a great fabric. I love it. I use it for other stuff. I don't use it for my clothing because it's hard to sew with. It's too stretchy. Like, my cuffs would end up like they're just too stretchy. My bummies, if I were making a size 12 to 18 months or 18 to 24 months, they would look gigantic because the fabric is literally so stretchy that it just doesn't come out right. And I would get so frustrated because it would take me twice as long to make something with that fabric. And I didn't always use this fabric. I just discovered this fabric like a year ago, I would say. And I'm slowly like transitioning all of my products over to this organic fabric. And I'm not saying that it's what you should use, it's what I use and it's what I like, but you will find what you like to sew with and what works best for you, because for me, it was a matter of time. Sewing with that fabric versus this fabric was so time consuming, and I saved so much time using this because it's literally a dream to sew with. Like, there's never any issues. It doesn't tear, it doesn't break needles. Like, it is just perfect to me. Like, I've never had any issues with it. It's very expensive, which I don't like, but also, like I said before, you just do your prices to what you're spending on your fabric, and people get that. People know, like, when they see what you're using, they don't care what they have to pay for that if they know that they're getting what they're paying for. But going back to what I suggest whatever works for you. If you like to sew with cotton, sew with cotton. A lot of people make cotton skirts, cotton dresses, cotton everything. Like, it's amazing. But for me, because I was going one way, I didn't want to mix all my fabrics together. I just wanted it to be like, and especially for my descriptions, it was just too much to have to change everything all the time. I just wanted to be able to say one fabric that I used and to be done with it. So I've stuck with one fabric line and I've just gone from there. So yeah, just find what works for you and stick with it. Don't go try a bunch of things to figure it out, because that's what I did. I bought a bunch of different kinds and I sewed with it. I did different projects with it and I figured it out. And then I realized which one I really wanted to sew in the end with, because I knew I was going to spend a lot of time making clothing. That's where I wanted to be in my business. And so it's the same thing with embroidery. You find a shirt that you like, you find a blank company that you like, and you stick with it because it makes your embroidery that much faster and that much better quality. And it's just, it makes your life so much easier working with something that you know how to work with. So I hope that helps. Okay, so navigating spoon flower. I don't really search for anything else besides fabric on there. So literally I go spoonflower.com. I go up to the search bar. If I want to find turtles or carrots, like I wanted to find a carrot fabric, literally I searched in carrot fabric or carrots in, and so when you put in what you're looking for, it'll come down to a list and it'll say in fabric, in wallpaper, in this, da da da, everything that they sell. And I just look for fabric. And so I just click on carrots in fabric and everything will come up. And you can search like by color. You can search by, like, if you're looking for a specific animal, you can search for an animal. Like, it's, you literally just type in what you want to look for. And then when I click on the image that I like, I go over, there's another search bar where you can choose what kind of fabric you want. And mine's organic cotton knit. So I just type in the word organic and the organic cotton knit comes up. And that's just how I do it. Pre-kindergartner Dawn. Okay. I'm going to flip you guys around and go over to my heat press. And we're just going to heat press this, or you can use, at this point, if you don't have a heat press, you can use an iron. Make sure that you're protecting your fabric. You don't want to burn it. So use a Teflon sheet, parchment paper, whatever you have. You can also simply just put a thin layer of cotton fabric over it. Make sure it's a light color like white or cream. You don't ever want to use a dark fabric over a light fabric if you're using light fabric. But yeah, so I'm going to go over there. I'm going to turn you around and I'll be right there. Okay, let's see. Do I usually buy my fabric by the bolt? It depends. If I'm trying out a new fabric, so like this carrot fabric is seasonal and I don't know how it's going to sell. I love it personally, but I don't know how everybody else is going to feel about it. So I bought 6 yards to start. Usually I buy 10 yards of my all year round fabrics. And then once I get like halfway through it, I'll order another 10 yards and I just go from there. I have been going through it a lot quicker. So I'm in the process of trying to figure out what the right number is, or if I should just buy a bolt. I don't know. Spoonflower is different. So yeah. Amber presses them and then they look much more polished. Yeah, so I'm going to go press it and then I'll show you the ending result. I will show you the inside of it when I go over there. Give me 1 second. I'm turning the computer back around so I can see your comments. Okay, so I'm going to get a drink of water really quick. My throat is very dry. Okay. So if you're interested, this is what it looks like. Can you guys see that? So this is my fabric, and this is what it looks like. You can see, hold on, sorry, trying to focus it. Wait, wrong way, this way. Nope. I'm looking at my computer and it's so awkward. Okay, so Hip Kid Designs, I use her for most of my fabric choices. I love, love, love her work. I am Instagram friends with her, and I can message her and she can send me what she has if I have something in mind. Like, she's the artist and she'll design these. So she designed this fabric. So designed by is who you're getting the product designed by. This is organic cotton knit, and this is what they put on every single fabric that I get so that I can double check to make sure that it is the right cotton. So I can actually, I don't have pictures of this on my website, although I should, just to prove that I use organic. But I don't. I don't know. Hopefully they trust me. Okay, so the inside of the romper looks like this. Can you see that? Let me see if I can open it up more for you. Can you see that? So it's just the liner, and then this piece right here is attached to the side seam. And then that way it doesn't flop around. It's literally attached. It won't go anywhere. This is the armpit right here. So it's attached. It's not going anywhere. But that's why I said sew it on the seam, because if you sewed it on the body, it would be like this. Like, it would be all squished up. So So after this, I kind of just shake it out and I bring it over to my press. And if you're using an iron, just make sure all of your seams are laying flat in the right way. I roll out my seams because sometimes they get stuck in the side, and then if you iron it that way, you're left with like a, I don't know how to explain it. If your seam is way, okay, so like this right here, if you can see that, see how much is in there? There's a whole bunch of side seam in there. If I roll it out, it lays nice and flat. And I just give it a good press for like 5 to 6 seconds. Just no like time limit, just as much as I think it needs. And I just do it in sections, rolling out the edges. If you roll the seams, that's a good trick of how to make them nice and flat and make sure they're all laying the same way. You just roll them with your fingertips. I taught myself that too. I'm sure everybody knows about it. That's just a simple trick. And you'll be amazed at how polished this looks at the very end. So the reason why you want to make sure your cuffs are the right way when you do them is because when you flip it inside out, if they are not facing the right way when you sew them on, your cuffs will be upside down. So you just always want to double check that if you have a directional fabric. Okay, so now we don't have our Kam Snaps on yet, but already look at how much better this looks. My cuffs are nice and flat. And then my shoulders, all of my straps are nice and flat as well. Okay. And then we're going to go over, I'm going to flip you around, and we're going to go over to the snap area. Okay. I hope I haven't lost you guys. But now I want to buy a serger and make one. Yay, Maria. You'll have fun with us. I do these every other Monday. Busy Bee is asking to see the inside again where the liner is and tack to the body. Okay, you need to see it again? Okay. Let me see if I can get this angle right. Okay. So, can you see this? So there's the inside, and can you see this? Let me see, hold on. Trying to get you a good visual because my camera is in a weird angle. Is that good? Of course. Thank you guys for watching my videos. Did that help you, Busy Bee? Okay, perfect. Okay, so now you're going to put your Kam Snaps on, and I don't ever measure these or anything like that. I just basically use my, I don't know, basically my index finger, I place it on the top of where the back part of the body, I put my finger just like this on here. So that's exactly how much room I need. I put it right here, and that covers both of the pieces. And that's how far over I want my back strap to go over my top strap. You can do however big or however far apart you want. I've always done it this way, and I've never had anyone complain about the shoulders being too tight or too short or anything like that. So I've just never changed it. That's just what I do. And then what I do is where the corner is right here. Let me see if you can see this. Okay, so where the corner is right here, I poke my hole, my seam ends right. I go just above the seam meets, I poke a hole. And I do that on the other side as well. So I go up to where the seam ends, and then I go over to where the seam ends, and then I poke my hole. Hopefully that makes sense. And real quick, the neckline curves, okay? This curves too, but it's straight right here. So I always line up these two edges. I don't really bother with these because they're curved. So I always just line up these two edges right here, if that makes sense. Go ahead and do that to both shoulder straps, making sure you've poked holes in both of them. 2 holes in each. Don't poke yourself. Please don't poke yourself. Pick out the color that you chose. I'm going to bring you guys, I'm going to unplug you real quick because I got to bring you over here. Now I'm going to turn the camera around so you guys can see what I'm doing. Actually, I'm not. I got to do it this way. Sorry guys. Just trying to get you a good angle. I'm going to move this way. This thing's heavy. This is my snap. I do lots and lots of snaps. So that's my Kam Snap. Okay. Are you guys ready for this? Why does it freak you out? Is it scary? Just don't get your fingers in here. Okay. I always start with my back piece, and I know it's my back piece because my tags are on here. And if you don't have tags on here, you know it's your back piece because it's a lot bigger. So it's taller. So grab your back pieces. Hi, Christine. I did. I make my own patterns, but I posted a pattern that's similar to mine. So it's in my description box. Okay, you're going to take your back pieces and lay your front pieces down and only hold on to your back pieces. You're going to take your flat heads, which are these pieces that have the flat back. All 8 of your flat back pieces are going to be going on the back side of your shoulder strap. So if it's facing you, your piece is going to go on the back. So it's going to poke through where you poked your hole, and the pokey part is going to be facing you. The back part, if you think about it, you're going to be snapping it down, so you want that to be showing. Does that make sense? So you're going to do that to all 4 back pieces. You're going to put your back pieces on one at a time, and you can use either part you want. You can use, so these are called the caps. These are called, I mean, I call them the male and female parts, but that's not what they're called. I think they're called, I can't think of it right now. They all have names, but you're going to grab the one that comes out like that. And then that's what I use on all 4 back pieces. So these are my back ones. And then you just snap all 4 of them on. So it's going to look like that when you're done. So go ahead and do that to all 4 pieces of your back pieces. Make sure you're grabbing the right parts. I'm at a weird angle, so sorry if you're seeing my arms. And then you're going to do the same exact thing to the front ones, making sure the caps are laying on the back. And the other piece looks like this. It goes in so that they can snap in together. So those are the front ones. So once you get done with your back ones, you can move on to your front ones. This is a challenge for me. I've never done it at this angle. So a good rule of thumb is just make sure if the romper is looking at you, like you're holding a child facing you. So if this was the child facing me, I want the pieces like this. And the caps are always on the back side. That's how I always remembered it, because when you snap it, you want to see the caps. This part gives me a workout. Last night I did 13 rompers, so that's a lot of snapping. 2, 4, 6, 8 snaps per romper. It's a lot of snapping. My arms were hurting. Okay. So what I meant by you want to see the caps is you make sure that you can see both of these and that they snap together. So after they snap together, you can see the caps. I gotta move this over. My caps aren't down far enough. I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't doing it wrong. I need to press them harder. Sometimes you have to press them flat or they won't snap together. There we go. Just to make sure they're nice and secure. Okay. Now, you hear that snap? Okay. I'm going to move you back over here and show you my romper. Is it lagging? Bye, Sarah. You're gonna... No, I'm not gonna poke myself. Okay. I was just reading your guys' comments. Okay, so here is what it looks like. Hope you guys can see this. Can you see that? Isn't that so cute? I'm so excited. You guys are the first ones to see this. So this is my new print for Easter. This is my gender neutral or boy print because I already had my girl bunny one, and I had to find a boy one, and this was a cute option for a boy. What do y'all think? So usually when I finish snapping them, if it's in order, I'll lay it on this table right here, and this is where I'll do my folding. I'll nice and fold it up nice and good, make sure it's all clean, and then this is how I do it for the order. And then I put my tags on it, my wash instructions that say like dry naturally, because you don't want to put this nice fabric in the dryer. You want to air dry it or dry it naturally. So there we go. Do you guys have any questions for me? That is all there is to it. But I can explain more if you guys have questions. I am looking at my computer now. Thank you, thank you. Cindy, if you need help, just message me. I'll help you. Thank you. I actually really like the color of it. It's so pretty. It's even prettier in person, I think. Of course. I hope you guys enjoyed the live tonight. And honestly, I love doing these lives. So the more you guys tell me what you want me to show you how to make, the more I can prepare for them and the better I can get at teaching them. I'm not a teacher, so I'm learning along with you guys. And yeah, it's a work in progress. This is weird. I can see myself. I'm looking at my computer because you guys are backwards. I can't read the comments on my phone. I have a bunch of food on my shirt from my son. Sorry. Cindy, good night. Go to bed. It's probably, what time is it? Midnight there? Thank you so much. Hopefully I didn't repeat myself too much. And hopefully I didn't go too fast or too slow. It's hard to know because I feel like I'm talking to myself because I can't like just sit here and read what you guys are talking about the whole time. So I have to just keep going and just feel like I'm going the right pace. I don't know. It's hard. This for swaddle blankets. I personally wouldn't use it for swaddle blankets only because it's a little thicker. Usually swaddle blankets are a little thinner, like a sweet pea gauze, or well, sweet pea gauze is on Spoonflower, so that's why I said that. But you can get like a double gauze, you can get a single layer gauze. I would use those for swaddle blankets. You could do like a double brush poly is really good for swaddle blankets. I have a bunch of a double brush poly over here. I had planned on doing blankets with, and I have bins full that I don't even touch. So I'm trying to de-stash. It's a lot of one day at a time though. What else, guys? Do you guys have any other questions for me? Like anything you can think of. The end of my lives are basically free for all. It doesn't have to be about what we made tonight. It could be about anything. I get a lot of questions on where I get my and I get those from an Etsy shop, Mountain Street Arts. I don't know what her policy or shipping frame is. I'm not sure. I literally just message her because I've ordered her from her forever, and I just tell her how many I need and of what color. I usually just order both. My regular, I have two different kinds I can show you guys. I have a boy one and a girl one because my girl ones are girly, and for boys it's too much. So I get two different kinds. So these are my girl ones and these are my boy ones. And her name is right on there. It's Mountain Street Arts. So those are my tags I use. Ooh. I also put all of my other like labeling, my size tags, I put in these things. This is a good way to organize. I just put them in size in here, and then I keep my extra ones in a bin or a like drawer, and then when I need more, I'll just put more in. That way I don't have everything all over my space. I'm going to turn this off. All of this back here, all of my Kam Snaps, my snap press, everything is from I Love Big Buttons, also on Etsy. I got my press from her and all of my colors. Unless I'm in a bind, I'll go to Amazon or not Joann's. I've never bought snaps from there, but I've bought snaps from Hobby Lobby before. But I prefer getting them from her if I can. And if you want to stay organized, a tip that I've done is I've always kept my bolts, and that's how I have all of my fabric organized on my shelf. Yeah, it's kept me pretty organized. I want to make my own. That's in the future. Or in the near future. I have a lot of ideas going on in my head all the time, but I do want to make my own fabric bolts out of wood so that they're nice and they'll last forever. So that is my next project. I want them to be like a certain length because I order from Spoonflower, and their fabrics yards are a little bit wider, and so the Hobby Lobby long bolts work fine for now, but they are a little bit too short, so I'd like them an inch longer on each edge. So just stuff like that. Yeah. How I wrap my nursing pads. Yeah. So honestly, like I just have my nursing pad, and I just use a clear plastic bag, just the clear bags that everybody uses. And I have a wrap right here. I'll show you. It's super easy. I make them on my printer, and I buy this craft cardstock on Amazon. I get pretty much everything on Amazon for my supplies, like shipping supplies and all that stuff. And then I just make these on my computer. I print them out like that. And then what I do is cut them to size. There's lines. I have a grid on the computer that I use. And then I cut them to size, and then I score them. So you can see the score lines like on here. And so when I wrap them like this, it folds over it. So it just lays nice and flat in there like that. And then I put them inside of a plastic bag. And that's pretty much all I do. So I make all those labels. I do my blanket ones. My bigger blanket ones I have made. An Etsy shop makes them for me just because I can do it myself, but I just would rather somebody else do it because it's just more time for me to have to do that. So it's just easier. Thank you for linking that. What is NF on my tag? that what it says? Thanks for you. Thank you. Good night. Good night, Faye. Okay, so NF on my tag. It says cure NF. So my youngest son was born with neurofibromatosis 1. It's a genetic disorder, and there's no way of knowing how he got it unless we were to get tested. And we're all doing great. Everyone in my family's fine. We've never had any issues or anything. So we had to make the decision of either getting tested because it is a genetic disorder, or just letting it be. And we just decided that we would rather not know if we did have it because we're doing fine and we didn't want that burden of knowing that we may have it. So we just decided to not get tested, and because they told us that it could be it's a genetic disorder, so it could be from any one of us in the family, or he could have just a gene could have mutated and he could have just ended up getting it, and there's no way of knowing unless we got tested. But we just decided we didn't really want to, and that we were just going to be the best parents that we could for him and love him no matter what, and he's perfect. And yeah, so that is basically the meaning behind being in bliss, the reason why I do it. Not the full solely reason why I do it, but when I found that out, we found that out when he was 3 months old at his 3-month checkup. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's no cure. That's why on my tags I put cure NF1, because they don't have a cure for it. So basically I work, and it's my joy to make clothing for children, and it's just my whole soul. It's my whole heart. And I love doing what I do. And it's just kind of like a backup way of me thinking, like whenever I get super tired or stressed or anything, I just think of my children, and I think of him, and that I'm doing it for a good cause. I'm doing it for him. That everything I do is for them. So that is what the cure NF means. Sorry, I'm just reading your guys' messages. As you price your products, how much per hour do you pay yourself? That's the problem. I don't pay myself. So that goes back to the whole NF thing. My business it's my business, but also it's my hobby. It's my love of life. Like my husband told me one day, because I've always worked since I was 15. And when I had my oldest son, who's now almost 5, my youngest is almost 3. He's a Valentine's baby, so he'll turn 3 this coming week on Valentine's Day. I was a stay-at-home mom once my oldest son was born. I have always worked. I've always had something going on, 2 jobs, whatever it was, to take care of my family. Because before I met my husband, I have 2 older girls, and I was a single mom. So, you make ends meet. And I worked a lot. I always had a job. I was a cosmetologist. I had my own salon. I had clientele. I worked from like 8 in the morning till 8 at night, like every day. Like it was a full-on business. And if anyone knows, building up clientele is so hard to do. So it was the decision of keeping my business or having the chance to be a stay-at-home mom. I never had that chance with my daughters. And so of course I was going to take that leap of faith and quit everything that I had worked so hard for and just stay home with my kids, because I wanted to do that. I never ever had the opportunity to do that before. And so I was so over the moon to just be able to be home with them. or him at the time. It was just him. And that's what I did. And then one day I was like, I am so not bored to be home with them, but just like I had an itch because I have always worked and I didn't know what to do with myself. So my husband said, go find a hobby, figure out something you want to do. And so here I am now, however many, 5 years, almost 5 years later. I've only been in business for 3 years, but in the beginning I was like researching and doing all this stuff, like trying to figure out my calling. And I knew I was either going to go back to cosmetology or do something. I'm a hands-on person, so I knew I was going to do something like that. So that is when I found this job and I started researching everything. I've taught myself everything from start to finish. I decided that I just wanted to challenge myself, and that is why I make my own patterns. I don't ever put anything out until I know for if I try it on different people, like my nieces, my nephews, like friends of friends, like all their children, different sizes. I try them on everyone to make sure that they fit. I'm always like very, let me know if it fits, let me know if it fits, or how can I change it, or this or that. So that is from the very beginning. And so it was a hobby, is what I'm trying to say. And so I don't think of it as a job. So I just have fun with it. And I know that doesn't really help the question that you asked of how do I pay myself by the hour, because I don't. I just make the money. I get excited to make the money. I'm super busy. My business has been successful. And it just, I mean, like I know how much I take in, but I don't pay myself for it. I just, buy new products with it or buy a machine or whatever. Like this is just my like fun thing to do. That's why I wanted to do YouTube and teach you guys, because I want to be able to help you guys so you guys don't have to pay and go pay for a class or go do this or that. Like just want to be here to help you guys. So I hope that answered your question. I got this Kam Snap press on the I Love Big Buttons site that Sandy just posted. Sorry guys, I'm talking a lot as usual. Any other questions? I love answering questions, although I do go on a tangent. I'm sorry. My labels. It is Amber's Soy Masterclass. Thank you. I try. It's definitely not the masterclass, but I give you all the knowledge I have. My labels are from Mountain Street Arts. I don't know how to link things because I'm very technically challenged, if that's right. So Sandy, can you link Mountain Street Arts? I'll write it in here. It might link, I don't know. Maybe I just need to put the HTTPS. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, hey. Are you just joining? Thank you, Nancy. That's so kind of you. What size is my snap press? I don't know what size it is. It doesn't really have a size. I think they just come one size, and then you can choose whatever size snap you want. So like all of my Kam Snaps are size 20, if that helps. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so to end that story on him, just long story short, he as far as we know, he's perfectly fine right now. But with NF, I don't know if any of you guys know what it is. I don't even still really know what it is. I'm still learning. But basically, you don't know until something happens. So it's a day-to-day thing. So he could be completely fine today, and then tomorrow he could not be fine. So I just try not to think about it. I don't ever talk about it really. Unless people ask about it, of course, but we don't talk about it usually. I just try not to think about it, because if I do think about it, I get upset about it, because you don't know what's going to happen and whatnot. But he has to go to like eye checkups every 6 months. He has to go see the doctor. Most kids see the doctor after a certain age. They go once a year. He has to go every 6 months, so twice a year. So it's not that much of a difference. Unless she sees something that is like going to be occurring or whatever, she'll probably have him come back sooner than 6 months. But he's going to be starting his development preschool in like 2 weeks. So I'm preparing myself for that. I don't know how I'm going to do. He is learning so much. So basically with NF, with his type, it's basically like all tumors. So he can get, like spinal tumors, brain tumor, like anything like that, anything tumor related. So it's really scary. They check behind his eyes to see if any things are forming. I don't really know if I'm even explaining this correctly. I haven't Googled anything, because that was the first thing the doctor said, was don't Google anything because you will freak yourself out. So I haven't even looked at it. I just listen to what she says, and I just try not to think about it, because to me, when I look at him, he's absolutely perfect. You guys will get to see him. I'm uploading a video tonight when I get off of this live with you guys. And at the very end, and I apologize because my video got cut off because my battery died. So it's literally like abruptly like it's cut off, and then I end it. But I explain that in the end, so you'll be able to see him and put a name to a face sort of thing. So he's so darling. Both of them are so cute. They're opposites. One's blonde hair, blue eyes. The other's brown hair, brown eyes. Same with my daughters. So weird how that happens. It's just like God knows your body and what to give you. Both of my girls are exactly 23 months apart. My oldest is brown hair, brown eyes. My youngest is blonde hair, blue eyes. And then however many years later, I had my sons, who are exactly 23 months apart, ironically, and they're complete opposites too. Blonde hair, blue eyes, brown hair, brown eyes. Like, so crazy how everything works. But everything's meant to be, and I believe everything happens for a reason, and I just feel like I have so much love to give. I don't even know you guys personally, but I feel like I know you all in some way. And I just love being on here teaching you guys and helping you and answering questions, and just feeling like we all know each other and we're just like one big happy family. So I hope that he does good in preschool. I'm very nervous, but it's a very good school. It's literally right outside of our neighborhood. And our neighbor's son actually goes to it because he has a speech delay, and so he sees the speech pathologist there. So my son actually has to see PT, OT, and speech. They see him once a week, and they like take turns. I think it's like an hour a day or something. I don't know how they do it, but he goes 2.5 hours a day, which isn't that long, but to me it's going to be forever. But it'll give me more time to work, so I'm excited. And yeah, he is now, this is his second night binky free. He has no binky or passy, whatever you guys call it. We weaned him off of that, so he like hasn't even asked for it. He's been 4 days, full 4 days with no binky or passy, but 2 nights completely done. Like, he's doing so good, and it's helping him. He's talking so much better. So with NF, it delays them. So he's basically 6 months behind his actual age. So for me having 3 other kids, it was really hard for me to adapt to him being a little behind. Nothing against him at all. Like, he has no control over that. It was just my mindset, like, thinking, and not even comparing, but like, I think it was hard because I watched my niece, who is actually younger than him, but way more advanced than him. So it was really hard for me to be like, well, why doesn't he do that? Because she already does that. Like, and then that's when I would just be like getting in my head. And so I had to off that and realize, like, look, and however long it takes him to catch up, he's moving at his own pace. And I see it happening. It's so crazy because literally this last week, he has learned so much. It's like he became his age in a week span. Like, he's saying all the colors, he's saying all the numbers, he's starting to say sentences, he's telling us to come on, he's telling us to play, like all these things. And mind you, a week ago, he would say mama. Not even dada, mama. That was it. Like, no words, like hi, bye, the simple like 3 words. And now he's saying like more than like 50 words. It's amazing. It's crazy. Yes, he's literally like, I try not to say I have favorites because I don't. I love all my kids the same. Like, you have so much love to give in your heart to each kid individually. I have 4 kids, and you don't think that each one, when you have them, like, how am I going to give them the same amount of love that I gave my other one? But you do. You find a way. And he is just, every time he does something, it literally, and I think it's because I know of his situation, I just like melt. He melts my heart so bad. Thank you. Thank you, Rose. Good night, Paola. Thank you for sticking around. Of course. I will share anything with you guys. Maybe not anything, but mostly anything. Exactly. All kids develop at their own pace. My two daughters who are older, they're 15 and 13, they're totally on their own pace. They developed both completely opposites of each other. Like, it's crazy how different every human being is, and you cannot judge anybody. Like, everyone is their own person, and I just like can't stress that enough. Like, everyone's their own human being, and they have their own way of dealing with things. Everyone's different. Yeah. Busy Bee, same thing with him walking. Like, he took, I'm not even kidding, forever to walk. And that was another thing. We had to take him to like physical therapy. I was going to physical therapy 3 times a week. He had to wear like braces on his ankles like 24 hours unless he was sleeping. He was a noodle. He could not stand up. He couldn't walk. He would flop. He would just like, he was everywhere. And then all of a sudden, one day, he just took off. And it was amazing. Yeah, I know he will. He already is. Like, now that he knows, like, he can put a couple words together, like, come on, come on. It's so cute. He'll go up to us if we're just at the end of the night sitting on the couch relaxing after dinner. He'll come up and grab our hand and just say, come on, come on. And how do you say no? Like, I can't say no to that. So it's like, okay, let me get back up. I just sat down, but let me get back up. And then he wants us to chase him around the whole house. It's so cute. I can't believe you guys are all still on here. 73 of you guys still watching. Thank you. It makes me feel so good to know that you guys aren't just gonna leave, right? Like when you finish something and you want to actually like talk with me. Yeah, I know. I'm super grateful. I I'm a completely hands-on person. That's how I learn, and my older daughter is the same exact way. And so, when you figure out the way that you learn, you can learn things so much faster and easier when you know how you absorb things and take things in. And that's how I figured it out. I need to see something. I need to do it with my hands. I need to get in there. It's the action. I'm not a reading textbook sort of person. I am all hands on, and she's the same way. Paulette, you should get to bed. It's 11:38 here, so I'm an hour behind you. But it's midnight there. It's almost 1. Do you guys have to get up in the morning? I know some people are always on here and they're like, I have to get up at 5. I'm like, oh my gosh, go to bed. Me too, Sandy. I have to. I have to do it all by myself or like see it happening. So I don't understand why my camera was lagging earlier. It's totally fine now, it seems like. It's always during the most important parts when it's like not working. I'm gonna grab my water really quick. Of course, I told my husband I'd be in at like 10:30, and it's an hour later, always. Okay. I was just afraid that you guys were missing parts. Yay! You bought your serger. Did you use it tonight? I don't know if it happens to you, but it's hard to have friends that likes your hobbies. I enjoy where I can spend time with other ladies that enjoy what I like. Yes. I actually have one friend who is a crafter, but we like to do different things, if that makes sense. So, like, in the very, very beginning, when my husband wanted me to find a hobby for myself, I started making bracelets. And I thought that was what I wanted to do. And then I realized that's not what I want to do. And she realized that's what she wanted to do. So we kind of switched. And she never really sewed, though. She was kind of more into like, always into jewelry, like making necklaces or whatever. And so we just kind of like went our own different way. And we did do craft fairs together. So we first started, we shared a table, a 6-foot table we shared. And then fast forward 2.5 years later, which would have been last year because I didn't do crafts this year because of COVID. But my last one, we were almost about to purchase, well, I was almost about to purchase 2 booths because I had so much stuff. My booth was like overflowing, which is amazing. But now, if I were to do, I decided not to do any markets like when they started back up again after COVID was getting better, I guess. It's not better, but when they were able to do markets again, I decided to opt out because of good reasons. My online shop has picked up immensely and I'm just busy. Now I picked up YouTube, so now I have to do videos and just keep up on that. So that's just like one more extra thing that is not hard. It's not, I mean, sorry, it's not easy. Like it takes a lot of time. Like making a video takes a lot of time if you want it to be done the right way. And mine are nowhere near perfect or good, like at all. I'm still working on it and learning. I just started, but it takes a long time. And so I told my husband, there's no way I will even have time to make up the inventory for the shows if I want to do them. So I just decided not to do them anymore. They're so fun, but I just had to like pick one or the other, because I also am in a shop locally, which is just like being in a craft fair, but 24/7. Like I have to keep up on that inventory all the time. So that's why when you see all of that on my table, all this, that's pre-cut fabric for rompers. I've pre-cut stuff, leggings, headbands, rompers, all that stuff. So okay. On the box, I need to designate an area and keep it assembled all the time. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to pick a spot because you want to pick a spot and just like be comfy there. So make sure you have the right like area and build on from that. That's true. People don't get it. People don't understand when I just want to come out here and this is my getaway, this is my happy place. Yeah, I just read your comment, Rose, and I do it because I love doing it. It's not a burden to me. It's not like, oh, I have to go do this, or now I have to go get on the live. It's like I get excited for it. I get pumped up for it. Like I get nervous. I still get the butterflies and all that good feeling like before you get ready to like do a speech or whatever. It's very intimidating, but yeah, it's so fun. Can you show how to make a garment with elastic waist, leggings, shorts, etc.? Yes, I am. I don't have anything to do it right now. I have I have like 4 videos that are uploading that are going to show in detail how to make a waistband, because I've had so many questions on how I do my waistbands. There is a video that I have already put up that shows, but I want to go more into detail, and kind of like how I did it tonight, I want to put it at angles where you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I have a video coming out, and I've actually started, I have a planner and I've actually started planning. That's why I always ask you guys what you want to see, because I'm planning out one video a week on I'm trying, don't quote me, I'm trying to upload videos on Thursdays. It did not happen this week because I got so busy with orders, but I'm working on it right now, and I'm going to put it out either after this live or in the morning. I just have to upload it. But I'm trying to do one video a week and one live a week. So my videos Thursdays, and then space it out and do my lives on Mondays. Some weeks I won't have a video, and I'm sure there'll be some Mondays where I can't do a live, but I'm going to try my hardest to do at least one of those a week. So that's why I asked you guys for your opinions on what you would like to see. So message me, comment below on any video that you would want to see. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. You can email me, anything. Yeah. I was going to show you one, but I just sent them all out. I had so many orders out, and I just sent them this morning. So I don't have even one to show you right here, or else I would. Thank you. Do I sew dresses? That's actually funny that you asked that. I have a new pattern that I am creating at the current moment, not moment, but time. I'm making a pattern right now. I'm making summer dresses, and that's going to be an upcoming video and an upcoming tutorial. I already make skirts. I just obviously don't have them right now in my shop because it's cold, but I have skirts coming out. I have boy shorts coming out, which are different than my bummies. Bummies are more like booty shorts or bloomers. So I have boy shorts that actually have like a drawstring, or like a faux drawstring, if you want to say. I'm coming out with, in the summer and spring and summertime, I make my rompers exactly the same as we did tonight, but I leave off the cuffs and I roll them so they're shorts. So it's a romper and shorts or a romper and pants. Same exact pattern, just whether you put the cuff on or leave the cuff off. So super simple way to change it up for the weather. So I have my shorts rompers. I have a pair of boy shorts that I'm making with drawstrings. I have summer dresses coming, and I have skirts coming. And my summer dresses are going to be so cute. I'm super excited. The straps on them are actually going to be tie straps. So I'm making them kind of like my bows, but you'll be able to just tie them. So they'll be able to pull them up through their feet, over them, and then just tie the straps on. They're going to be so adorable, but I want them more fitted, not just like a muumuu. I want it more fitted a little bit so the girls can twirl them and feel really cute in them. I'm girly. Yes, Sandy, go get to bed. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you in the morning. Let's see how you're making those Minky Lovies Rabies. I want to create one for my grand. Yes, my video that I'm putting out tomorrow morning, or tonight or tomorrow morning, has me making them. But that is another video that I'm going to make. I'm going to start doing, like, I think what the plan is every other week I'm going to do like a work with me video where I put you up and you just see me throughout the day moving around, basically from station to station, because I get so many different orders during the day that they're just different products. So I get blanket orders, I get lovey orders, I get onesie orders, I get birthday shirt, embroidered shirts orders, I get rompers, leggings, I get, you name it, everything from my website. And it's just a mixture. So that's why I have so many different stations, and I just move around. And as I'm working on one, I put one over here, I start the embroidery machine, I go over here, and I just like kind of move around and do it throughout the day. That way I'm not just doing one thing at a time. So while I'm sewing my romper up, I could have an embroidery shirt going. Like, I just try to work as fast as I can, because the only time I can work during the day is when my kids are sleeping. So I have a certain amount of time I can do stuff during the day, and if I don't get that finished, then I have to work however late at night, and that's why I'm up so late. But okay, so went off on a tangent again. I always do that. My plan is to do one work along video a week, and then the next week do a tutorial video. But then also on the Mondays do a live, and every other week I do a regular live, and every other week I do a tutorial live. So I'm going to try to figure out a sequence to split those up, if that makes sense. That sounds confusing, but I promise I have it up here in my head. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for staying on this long, and thanks for helping me and linking everything for me. I'm super excited to do all my new, like, my dresses and stuff. I have a skirt pattern that I made, but I'm going to redo it. I want a different kind of skirt. Screen print transfers. Do you choose the type of HTV or how does that work? I actually buy my screen print transfers from Hoop Mama, and it's just something easy and simple for me to just get out. But I do put that in my description that these are not handmade because everything else in my shop is handmade. So I just tell them these are screen print transfers, and it's just a blank, you know, boutique shirt that I use. So it's very good material, very good, soft quality, good quality shirt. But I literally just put a screen print transfer on there, and it's from somebody that I outsource it from. So it's not me doing it. But it's amazing quality. And it's super, super easy. Like, for instance, Valentine's Day. I didn't have the time to make up samples for embroidery shirts this time around for Valentine's Day. So I bought all my Valentine's Day shirts screen print transfers. So I bought like 3 different transfers for boys and 3 different transfers for girls. And then that's how I did my Valentine's Day shirts this year. It's just an easy way, easy, quick way. It's 5 minutes. Like, you don't have to do anything. You literally set your temperature and you're good to go. Okay, so we have Lovies on the list. We just did rompers. We already did leggings. Connie did bummies. I want to do bummies too, but I don't know if it's too close together to do my bummies because she just did hers, I think, like a couple weeks ago. So let me know if you want, or if it's too soon. I don't know. I'm new at this. I don't know. I don't know what's right, what's wrong, any of this. So bibs are on the list in burp cloths. I do those. Those are super duper easy. Good night, Rose. Yeah, I want to actually do, my aprons. Those are super fun. They're actually really easy, but there's a lot of different pieces to them as well. But yeah, I guess I can't really call it a apron because that's somebody's name. So it's the baby. It's like, it fits like a big apron, like if you were to wear it, but the babies, it covers up their whole torso. Their arms go in it like a shirt and then ties behind their neck so they cannot get it off. I'll go show it to you. Let me grab one. I'll be right back. They're super cute. Oh no, I don't have any. I gave them all to my shop. Whoops. Sorry. But they literally are, if you go, actually I don't even have them on my website. I took them off my website. But they're basically just like little aprons, and they cover, it's like a bib, but it's a bigger bib. It's like a shirt, so your child cannot tear it off of them. So you put it around their arms. It has an armhole, and it covers their body. It has a neck, and then you do I use bias tape, and you do the bias tape around the arms and the necks, and you tie it. Super cute. You can do any design you want, and for those I use a minky, very low pile soft minky on the back, so it's super soft. And then on the front I just use cotton, so any cotton. That's why I have all this cotton over here, but I don't make them for my shop anymore, So I don't use that anymore. So that'd be fun to actually use some of it. Connie from Scandies. Let me link her shop in here. So there's 3 of us, one including me, and then 2 other girls. Her name is Scandies. This is her YouTube name. So Scandies is, I'm going to put Connie. So follow these girls. These are the girls that I teamed up with to do these live tutorials. So she's also very good. She does these sew-alongs on Sunday nights. So she did not do one last night because of Super Bowl, but she does them on Sundays. I do them on Mondays. And Gabby, I'm going to put her here too. Gabby from Best of Both Worlds Co. So Gabby from Best of Both Worlds Co. She also does them on Tuesdays. So she will be doing one tomorrow night. Usually tomorrow night she would have been doing a regular live. But because she didn't get to do her live, I think last week, because her kids were sick, she is going to do a live tomorrow night doing a tutorial. And I believe she said she's going to be making a bonnet. I'm not for sure, so don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. So Gabby and Connie are both Central Standard Time. So I don't know what time zone you guys are all in, but Central Standard Time for her. I'm Mountain Standard Time. But Connie is on Sundays at 5:30, I believe, Central Standard Time. Gabby is on Tuesdays at 6:30 Central Standard Time. I hope I'm saying that correct. I'm pretty positive that's the right time. And then, of course, me, I'm the 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So sorry, but I can't do it any earlier than that because of my kiddos. So yeah, the 3 of us decided that we would just love to teach you guys and have fun with it. Like, it was just like more of like I don't know, do you guys know Carly Bell? She does Friday nights, and hers is called Sip and Stitch, and she just does a random thing every Friday. It's nothing like, it's not the same stuff all the time. Like last Friday, she did a hat. So she embroidered on her brother Persona, and she showed us how to do a hat. And so then like the week before, she did like Valentine's things, like she does lots of craft stuff. So, but she incorporates the sewing and the embroidery machines and stuff like that into everything she does. And so if you're not following her, you should go follow her too. She's amazing. I watch her every Friday night. I think she's at 6 or 7 on Fridays. But so anyway, with that story, I was wanting to say, I was just hoping to just make it be fun and enjoyable, like not like school or anything, but just something fun, like a Sip and Stitch. Like, just enjoy your time, relax, sew, listen to some music, whatever. Like, just have fun and relax. Yes, Busy Bee, do it, do it. You can do it. Have faith in yourself. Don't give up. Just believe in yourself. Anything is possible. All right, guys. I'm going to head out for the night. It's 12 o'clock. I don't want to say bye because I love talking with you all, but I got to get some sleep because I have a long day tomorrow. But watch for my video. If you're not subscribed to me, please subscribe and hit the notification button so you get all of my upcoming videos. I have hit my subscriber I don't know what they call it, goal, not goal to them, goal to me, but you have to hit like a certain benchmark in order to be able to use your phone for lives. And then there's a community tab where you can do kind of like Instagram and Facebook. You can post things on YouTube. You can't do that unless you have like a certain amount of hours and this and that, whatever. So I've hit that mark. I'm able to post things now. So look out for my posts, but you have to have the notification bell hit or you won't get them. Okay, so I posted the other night like my supplies list. So look out for my comment or in my community tab. I will be posting the supplies my lives are on every other Monday. So I try to get my supplies list out by that Friday so that you have the whole weekend to get whatever supplies you need. I try to make it to where you can pick up the supplies at any store like Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, any of those stores. If for some reason it's something you have to get like on Amazon or whatever and you need time for it to ship, I will put it up ahead of time so that you have time to get those supplies. And like tonight, if you didn't have the Kam Snaps, you can always put the Kam Snaps on at a later time. So I knew that coming into it. But you'll only find that on my channel under my community tab. So it'll pop up as like a post is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for being here. I can't say thank you enough. And I will see you guys in my next video or my next live. I hope you guys have a wonderful night and thank you for being here with me. Thank you guys. I love you all so much. Bye.